Chapter 4494. However, seeing that the madman was about to die under the heavenly tribulation, Dong Hanzong was already prepared to celebrate. But at this moment, the power of all evil appeared and the broken all-evil sword quickly reformed. How could this be? The joy in Dong Hanzong's eyes instantly disappeared and was replaced by disbelief. Ha! The madman bared his teeth. The power of all evil continued to pour into the all-evil sword. The aura of the all-evil sword instantly soared to a new level. If before, the lethality of the all-evil sword was equivalent to a low-level dominator weapon, now it was equivalent to a mid-level dominator weapon. Of course, the power of the all-evil sword was definitely not something a low-level or mid-level dominator weapon could compare to. It was just a metaphor. Moreover, with the appearance of the power of all evil, the injuries on the madman's body were recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. He was the true body of all evil. Therefore, the power of all evil could not only help him kill his enemies, but it could also help him recover from his injuries. In layman's terms, the power of all evil was equivalent to a great tonic for him. Clang! With the increase in lethality, the madman swung his sword at the heavenly tribulation. Sword chi swept out in all directions and with a loud bang, the heavenly tribulation shattered. The injuries on his body were also completely healed. The previous weakness and wretchedness were all gone and he seemed to be full of energy. How could this be? Dong Hanzong's eyes trembled. He had clearly reached his limit before, so why did he recover to his peak state so quickly? Not only did he recover to his peak state, even the power of the all-evil sword had increased by so much. It was completely beyond common sense. The source of all evil, the true body of all evil, the power of all evil. In the past, I have only read about the source of all evil in ancient books, but I didn't expect it to be true. And it is even more terrifying than what was recorded in the ancient books. Princess Moon Fairy muttered. The source of all evil was the root of all evil. This was an extremely terrifying power. Because in this world, the power of evil was everywhere. It was also because of the terror of the source of all evil that no one had been able to control this power since ancient times. Because they couldn't withstand the corrosion of the evil aura. The evil aura would corrode a person's soul and intelligence, turning them into an evil puppet. It was equivalent to a puppet that had lost its soul and consciousness. But now, someone had actually merged with the source of all evil and successfully controlled this power. Moreover, he had even comprehended such a terrifying killing technique. The power of the all-evil sword was so strong that it made people tremble. No. The all-evil sword is not a killing technique that he comprehended. The emperor shook his head. Princess Wuxia looked at him in shock. Fusing with the origin of all evil is actually only the first step. The second step is to create the true body of all evil. However, this requires a certain amount of opportunity and luck. Obviously, Madman Mo has this opportunity and luck. He successfully created the all-evil true body, and the all-evil sword appeared along with the all-evil true body. To put it simply, the all-evil sword is the all-evil true body's innate ability. The emperor explained. Princess Wuxia asked, "Are you saying that as long as I can create the all-evil true body, I can directly create the all-evil sword and control it?" That's right. However, the emperor nodded. Then, a look of disbelief crept onto his face. But what? Princess Moon Fairy was suspicious. Something that could make her father feel disbelief was definitely not simple. Although I know the situation of the origin of all evil better than you, I never thought that the power of all evil could increase the power of the all-evil sword. According to my observation, it should be able to increase the power endlessly. The emperor said in a deep voice. Increase the power endlessly. Princess Wuxia's beautiful eyes widened. Didn't this mean that the more evil energy there was, the more lethality of the all-evil sword would increase? That's right. As long as there's evil energy in the world, the power of the all-evil sword will continue to increase. Moreover, with the all-evil true body, he can store the evil energy in the outside world in his body. When it's time to kill the enemy, he can instantly unleash it. By doing this, he can not only increase his combat power, but he can also catch the enemy off guard. The emperor said with a serious expression. If it wasn't for the fact that he had the power of origin in his hands, even he would have to retreat when facing Madman. Although he also had a legendary sovereign weapon, it was still lacking compared to the all-evil sword. Your Majesty. Suddenly, a skinny middle-aged man rushed to the emperor's side. He was wearing the uniform of the Death God army and bowed. Again? The emperor looked at him suspiciously. As a member of the Death God army, this person naturally had the will of the heavens. The emperor had some impression of this person, but he couldn't recall who it was. Dong Han, what are you doing? The inner demons raised his eyebrows and looked at the skinny middle-aged man unhappily. Dong Han? Princess Wuxia paused for a moment. She looked at Dong Han for a moment and said, "You seem to be from the second family. I didn't expect your Majesty to remember this lowly one." Dong Han said with a flattered look on his face. "I have some impression of you." Princess Wuxia smiled faintly. Dong Han, why did you suddenly run over here? What do you want? The inner demon's expression became more and more unsatisfied. Commander, please calm down. Dong Han's expression was slightly flustered. He had just joined the 10th team of the Death God army. The inner demons, Lu Jiajin, was his immediate superior. Seeing his superior get angry, especially when it was the inner demons, how could he not be flustered? If you have something to say it quickly. Don't dawdle. The inner demon's expression was impatient. This person suddenly ran over. What did he want to say? Yes. Dong Han nodded respectfully. He looked at the inner demons and said, "Commander, you must know that I brought my people to the 4 great continents a few years ago." Of course I know. It's hard not to know such a big thing. You naively went to the 4 great continents to take advantage of the situation. But in the end, you were hunted down by Qin Feiyang and the others. You were almost wiped out. The inner demons mocked. Hearing the inner demon's words, Dong Han was a little embarrassed. He sighed and said, "That's true. But at the 4 great continents, we saw something unbelievable." What is it? The inner demons was stunned and looked at him curiously. It's called lunatic. At that time, Qin Feiyang, Madman Mo, and the Golden-Winged Wolf King went to find trouble with Boss Ji and the others. I don't know if they wanted to kill them or subdue them. After all, the old antiques of the Purple Gold Divine Dragon clan are very powerful. If they can be subdued, they will become a terrifying force that can't be ignored by Qin Feiyang and the others. At that time, Madman Mo and Ji Laosher had a bloody battle. And I saw that battle with my own eyes. Dong Han said. A bloody battle? The Emperor, Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, and Princess Wuxia were slightly stunned. They quickly asked, what was the result? Lunatic lost miserably. Dong Han said. As expected. Lu Jiajin smiled faintly. After all, these old men had mastered at least 7 ultimate profound meanings and 3,000 incarnations. No matter how strong the lunatic was or how terrifying the all-evil sword was, it was impossible for him to defeat them. However, although the madman was defeated, the methods and strength he displayed at that time can only be described as peerlessly terrifying. Dong Han's eyes trembled. Every time he thought of the battle between the lunatic and Boss Ji, he couldn't help but feel fear. What do you mean? Princess Wuxia frowned. An expert with the will of the heavens was scared to this extent? Of course, she didn't doubt Dong Han's courage. After all, as an expert with the will of the heavens, how could he not have the courage? The only reason was that the lunatic's means had exceeded Dong Han's tolerance. In other words, it had left a shadow in Dong Han's heart. At that time, he also used his trump card, the all-evil sword. The situation at the beginning was the same as now. Although it was very powerful, it wasn't to the point of being heaven-defying. But as Ji Laoshi activated 3,000 incarnations, the lunatic's all-evil sword also became crazily stronger. Speaking up to hear, Dong Han swallowed his saliva and said in horror, "You will never know how many ultimate profound meanings he shattered with his last sword." How many? Dong Han frowned. He desperately wanted to know the answer to this question. 10,000. Dong Han raised a finger. What? 10,000 ultimate profound meanings? Dong Han's body and mind trembled, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. The Emperor, Dong Qingyuan, and Princess Yu Xian were also shocked to the extreme. One had to know. Ji Laoshi was an expert with the will of the heavens, and each of his ultimate profound meanings contained the will of the heavens. How terrifying was it to shatter 10,000 ultimate profound meanings with one sword? If it wasn't for Dong Han saying it, and if they didn't know that Dong Han wouldn't dare to lie in front of them, they wouldn't dare to believe it. Dong Qingyuan said in a deep voice, "Why didn't you tell us such an important thing before? I thought you knew. Because you and the deputy army commander have fought with them in the 4 great continents. But before I saw your reaction, you didn't seem to know about this, so I immediately came to tell you," Dong Han said. Dong Qingyuan and Dong Han looked at each other. They really didn't know about this. Although the mad scientist had opened the all-evil sword when they were in the 4 great continents, he didn't inject the power of all evil into it. So, they thought that the all-evil sword they saw at that time was the strongest state of the all-evil sword. But they didn't expect. The true strongest state of the all-evil sword was an endless increase in power. "Your Majesty, please give the order to kill him immediately. If we don't kill this person, there will be endless trouble in the future." Dong Qingyuan immediately looked at the Emperor and shouted. The Emperor looked at the mad scientist, who was undergoing the tribulation, with a hint of killing intent in his eyes. Although the tribulation was getting stronger and stronger, it couldn't cause any damage to the mad scientist at all. Because the all-evil sword in his hand was emitting a terrifying aura. What a busybody! The inner demons and Lu Jiajin glanced at Dong Han with a hint of killing intent in their eyes. It was better to get rid of this busybody as soon as possible. Chapter 4495. So he has the confidence to win. Dong Hanzong stared at Madman, his hands tightly clenched together. He originally thought that Madman would die under the heavenly tribulation before the 50th tribulation. Because at that time, Madman was indeed in a sorry state. But he never thought that Madman still had such a trump card. If nothing unexpected happened, relying on the powerful all-evil sword, he could really succeed in passing the tribulation. At that time, wouldn't he have to kneel down in front of everyone and call Madman Grandpa? No. This kind of thing was absolutely not allowed to happen. He also quickly looked at the Emperor and bowed, "Your Majesty, please give the order." He had to kill Madman before he succeeded in passing the tribulation. Otherwise, at that time, he would be the one to lose face. "Don't worry, it's already the 49th tribulation, one more tribulation away from the 50th tribulation." The Emperor waved his hand. Kill, he definitely had to kill. If Madman didn't kill him, he would be able to suppress everyone with his strength alone. Such a threat was not inferior to Qin Feiyang. But it wasn't easy to find such a good opportunity. If he didn't kill Qin Feiyang, White-Eyed Wolf, and Madman in one fell swoop, he would be a bit unwilling. Gotcha. The 50th tribulation finally fell. Its power was many times stronger than the first tribulation. Because at this level of tribulation, the lethality of each tribulation would increase exponentially. But the all-evil sword in Madman's hand, with the continuous infusion of the all-evil sword, its lethality had soared to an extremely terrifying level. Damn heaven, you can't do anything to me. Madman looked at the tribulation and laughed wildly, the all-evil sword crazily slashing down. Boom! The heavenly tribulation that was powerful enough to destroy everything was destroyed by the all-evil sword just like that. It was as easy as blowing off dust. The lethality of his sword is estimated to be able to shatter 2,000 to 3,000 ultimate mysteries. Princess Moon Fairy murmured. He was ridiculously strong. If there was no origin force, no death god army encirclement, who could be this person's opponent? It could be said that, apart from Dong Hanzong and the Lu Yuntian brothers, no one could fight with him. He hasn't appeared yet, you weren't here when I first arrived, fine, I'll kill Madman first. As your good brothers, I'm sure you'll be very sad to hear about Madman's death. The Emperor murmured. A wisp of killing intent suddenly flashed in his eyes as he shouted, "Kill this person." His voice was like a great bell, resounding in all directions. Seeing that the Emperor had finally given the order, Dong Qingyuan and Dong Hanzong could not help but become spirited. They took a step forward and landed in the void in front of them, instantly activating their ultimate skills. Following closely, the members of the Death God army surrounding the Myriad Demons Valley, the Monster Kings of the Kunpengsi region, the Beast Kings of the Sky Dragon Mountain Range, and the thousands of people of the 10 lineal families also stepped forward and activated their ultimate profound. Nearly 120,000 powerhouses of the will of the heavenly Tao simultaneously activated their ultimate profundities. Can you imagine what kind of scene that would be? Even if each of them had only grasped 6 ultimate mysteries, that would still be over 700,000 ultimate mysteries. Such a terrifying reality was probably enough to kill anyone in the world except for the sovereign of the divine kingdom, the ice dragon, and the heaven-devouring beast. What should we do? The inner demons raised their eyebrows and asked telepathically. Hold back for now. Lu Jiajin's eyes flashed slightly as he glanced at the crowd. Don't look. I've already sensed the location of the Emperor as soon as I arrived here. He's not far behind us. He must have activated the concealment technique, so we can't see him. The inner demons thought. Hearing this, Lu Jiajin withdrew his gaze and smiled secretly. Then let's go and pretend. The Emperor is not a fool. How can we fool him by pretending? If we don't want the Emperor to be suspicious, we have to go all out. The inner demons glanced at the Emperor and sneered secretly. Then, together with Lu Jiajin, they landed beside Dong Qingyuan and Dong Hanzong. Boom! The ultimate skill was activated. The aura rolled in all directions. Dong Qingyuan turned to look at the inner demons with a trace of doubt in his eyes. What are you looking at? Am I someone you can look at? Don't think that the grudge between us is over. After we kill Qin Feiyang and the others, we will slowly settle the score with you. You'd better pray that the Emperor will protect you for the rest of your life. The inner demons smiled coldly. Dong Qingyuan's pupils shrank. Dong Hanzong said expressionlessly, "Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and activate your Demon King True Body. The ultimate skill of the law of life and death, dual will of heaven. Are you teaching me how to do things? Do you think you can run away when the time comes? Blazing Flame Mountain plotted against us. Sooner or later, you will pay the price for it." The inner demon sneered. Hearing this, Dong Hanzong couldn't help but clench his fists. A trace of hostility flashed between his eyebrows. But to be honest, although Qin Feiyang and the others are our enemies, I am a little grateful to them because they slaughtered Han Zongcheng. The inner demons looked at Dong Hanzong mockingly. Have you said enough? Dong Hanzong growled. The hatred and anger that he had suppressed with great difficulty were instantly ignited. What are you doing? The emperor frowned and glared at the two. Nothing. Just to get in touch with him. The inner demons bared their teeth. The emperor's mouth twitched. Do you think I'm deaf? You said so loudly that I can't hear you. To be honest. He had a love-hate relationship with his inner demons. He liked the inner demons' talent, ability, and means. What he hated was the inner demons' personality. They were too arrogant and domineering. Not to mention Dong Hanzong and Dong Qingyuan, even he, the emperor of the Central Dynasty, might not be in his eyes. Hey! Madman Mo, although this is a little unfair, there is no other way. We don't dare to disobey His Majesty's order. The inner demons looked at the madman who was standing in the sky above the myriad demons valley, facing the 51st tribulation, and laughed. The madman shattered the tribulation with a casual swing of his sword. He turned to look at the inner demons and laughed, "It's okay, bring it on." Still so arrogant? The inner demons was slightly stunned and joked, "Do you still not understand your current situation? I'm not stupid. How can I not understand? But I believe that I won't die." The madman laughed. It's good to be confident, but too much confidence will cost you your life. The inner demon's blood boiled as the Demon King True Body appeared. It was 10,000 feet tall and emitted a murderous aura. From afar, it looked like a group of terrifying demon kings had descended. This is Lu Yuntian's Demon King True Body. It's really strong. It's said that this Demon King True Body is the only way to fight against Qin Feiyang's 3,000 avatars. And it was comprehended by Lu Yuntian himself. In terms of talent, this person deserves to be number one. Even Dong Hanzong is far inferior to him. The crowd at the back who had come to watch the show revealed looks of admiration when they saw this scene. Dong Hanzong's universe domain was indeed heaven-defying, but it was innate. But the Demon King True Body was different. The Demon King True Body was comprehended by Lu Yuntian through his own efforts. This was the difference between the two. With Lu Yuntian here, the madman will definitely die. After all, he alone is equivalent to 3,000 people's combat power. You're wrong. Not only does he have the combat power of 3,000 people, he also has the ultimate meaning of the law of life and death and has mastered two will of heaven. As expected. The next moment. The ultimate meaning of the law of life and death, the kingdom of life and death, appeared out of nowhere. The eruption of two wills of heaven instantly made the inner demons the focus of the entire city. Because his strength and aura were too terrifying. It was as if there was nothing that couldn't be done with him. If only his character was better, it would be even more perfect, Princess Yuxian murmured. At the end of her sentence, a smile appeared on her peerless face. If one looked carefully, her cheeks seemed to be slightly red, giving her a different kind of charm. Chapter 4496. Kill. Dong Qingyuan's sudden roar resounded through the sky. He had been waiting for this moment for a long time and could no longer hold back the killing intent in his heart. Whether it was the people at the entrance or the members of the Death God army, they all heard Dong Qingyuan's roar at this moment. Rumble. Ultimate profoundness that filled the sky immediately charged towards the sky above the Thousand Demons Valley from all directions. One must know. At this moment, not only the entrance of the Thousand Demons Valley, but even the other directions had been blocked. In short, the entire Thousand Demons Valley was surrounded by members of the Death God army. Even a fly would not be able to fly in. More than 700,000 ultimate profoundness that contains the will of the heavenly Tao. You guys really think highly of me. I can't let you guys down. Lunatic laughed wildly. He knew that Qin Feiyang and the rest must be hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to strike. This was the trust between brothers. Although they did not see Qin Feiyang and the rest from the beginning to the end, they still believed in it. So now, what he needed to do was to attract everyone's attention. It was equivalent to attracting everyone's attention on him, thus creating an opportunity for Qin Feiyang and the rest to launch a surprise attack. Boom! The power of all evil was injected into the all-evil sword. The all-evil sword not only trembled but also made clanging sounds as if it had absorbed a large amount of power of all evil, making it unusually excited. No matter how many come, I'll kill them all. At this moment, Lunatic seemed to be possessed as he waved the all-evil sword crazily. Numerous strands of sword chi were like a torrent that had broken through a dam. They shattered the sky and surged towards the ultimate profundities that were charging towards him from all directions. Although it was only sword chi, its sharpness was still peerless. Accompanied by a deafening loud sound, waves of ultimate profoundness were constantly annihilated. Countless living beings were dumbfounded by this scene. There were so many ultimate profoundness and they all contained the will of the heavenly Tao. However, the all-evil sword seemed to have an indestructible power. Just like Lunatic's previous clamor, he would kill them all. In just an instant. A total of more than 5,000 to 6,000 ultimate profoundness were shattered by the sword chi. Not enough. It can still be stronger. Power of all evil, erupt. Madman roared. The power of all evil that had been accumulating in his body for a long time surged out like a flood and instantly entered the all-evil sword. Clang! The all-evil sword trembled even more violently. A deafening sound echoed in all directions. In the blink of an eye, the lethality of the all-evil sword soared to a whole new level. As Madman continued to swing his sword, waves of blood-colored sword chi shot out like a surging torrent. At this moment, nothing else could be seen in this void except for countless sword chi clashing with hundreds of thousands of ultimate intents. The sword chi was shattering. The ultimate profound was also shattering. Furthermore, at least several tens of ultimate profound would shatter at the same time each time. In terms of quality, every single strand of sword chi from the all-evil sword was far superior to the ultimate profundities that contained the will of the heavenly Tao. How can he be so strong? Princess Yuxian didn't make a move. She stood beside the emperor and silently watched this scene. Her heart was in turmoil. One man and one sword was actually able to contend against over 700,000 ultimate profundities. Most importantly, the current madman showed no signs of losing. He was like a god, standing in the sky above the myriad Devil Valley. Not a single ultimate profound could break through the blockade of the sword chi and reach him. As the princess of the central dynasty, the apple of the emperor's eye. What kind of world had she not seen? But this was the first time she had seen such a scene in her life. Actually, if it was in the past, Madman would definitely not have this ability. Because in the past, the power of all evil in his body was not much. But now. First, he took the initiative to absorb the evil power in the Black Tortoise world. Later, he entered the myriad Devil Valley. Moreover, it had been 2 years since Madman entered the myriad Devil Valley. With Madman's brain, he would definitely set up a time array when he was in seclusion to fuse the ultimate profound. In other words, from the outside, it seemed like 2 years, but in reality, Madman had stayed in the myriad Devil Valley for over 3 million years. For over 3 million years, although he did not take the initiative to absorb the evil power, he did not dare to do so. Because if he did so, it would cause too much of a commotion and would definitely alarm the living beings near the myriad Devil Valley, but Even if he did not take the initiative to absorb the evil power of the myriad Devil Valley, for over 3 million years, the amount of evil power that entered his body was unimaginable. It could be said that, at this time, the power of all evil in his body, even if he crazily squandered it, it would not be used up in a short period of time. The most important thing was, he could take the initiative to absorb the evil power of the myriad Devil Valley at any time. Because now, his whereabouts had been exposed, so there was no need to worry so much. Don't you know that as the body of all evil, I am invincible in the myriad Devil Valley? Madman laughed wildly. Finally, he began to take the initiative to absorb the evil power of the myriad Devil Valley. Immediately, waves of evil power crazily rushed towards him like a tide. The void where he was instantly submerged in blood mist, as if it had turned into a sea of blood. What kind of monster is this person? The evil power here, even we don't dare to touch it easily, but this person not only dared to run into the myriad Devil Valley, but also directly absorbed the evil power. The humans, beasts, and sea beasts that gathered in the distance were all in disbelief. The fact that the myriad Demons Valley could become a revered forbidden zone in the Central Dynasty was enough to show how terrifying it was. But they did not expect such a monster to run out now. In the eyes of this person, this evil power was like a tonic. Time passed breath by breath. Madman held the all-evil sword in his hand, while resisting the terrifying heavenly tribulation. He also bombarded the ultimate profound in the surroundings, like a demon god. Many creatures had already been scared out of their wits by Madman's means. It was simply too ridiculous. More than 700,000 ultimate profound in supreme law couldn't do anything to him for a while. Of those 700,000 ultimate profound, 10,000 had already been shattered by the sword chi of the all-evil sword. One must know. When he fought with Ji Laoshi back then, Madman's all-evil sword could only shatter 10,000 ultimate profound. In other words, at this time, the all-evil sword had already surpassed the all-evil sword back then. And it was only a matter of time before it surpassed it. As expected. With enough evil power, the all-evil sword would be able to increase its power endlessly. Why, a mere person from the lower realm, how could he merge with the source of all evil, create the true body of all evil, and become a god that controls all evil in the world? I refuse to accept this. I, Dong Hanzong, have mastered the Qian Kun domain, stellar shift, invincible body, sealing force, and other heaven-defying means. I must not lose to him. Everyone listen to my order, immediately stop the next round of attacks. Looking at the awe-inspiring and all-powerful madman, Dong Hanzong's heart went crazy. Anger and jealousy emerged uncontrollably, following his roar. Immediately, around the myriad Devil Valley, all the will of heaven powerhouses once again displayed their ultimate profound. Chapter 4497. Little lunatic, this guy is simply invincible in the Thousand Demons Valley. The white-eyed wolf grinned. Although he is indeed powerful, if this continues, he will still suffer in the end. Qin Feiyang glanced at Dong Qingyuan and the others, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Before the first wave subsided, another wave arose. These people didn't want to give senior brother lunatic any chance to breathe. We should also make a move. After all, lunatic still has to transcend the tribulation. Moreover, the power of all evil will be useful in the future battle. We can't waste it all here. Long Chen said. Heard it. Qin Feiyang couldn't help but frown. He looked at the Emperor and Princess Yuxian and said, I have long wanted to make a move, but I was a little hesitant. What are you hesitating for? Long Chen was puzzled. Look at the Emperor and Princess Yuxian, why haven't they made a move yet? It's because they see that only senior brother lunatic is here, so they don't need to use the power of origin. But once we make a move, they will definitely use the power of origin. Once the power of origin appears, we will have no hope. Qin Feiyang said. Because lunatics still had more than 40 heavenly tribulations left. On average, each heavenly tribulation would take about 10 breaths, so 40 heavenly tribulations would take 400 breaths. With the terrifying power of origin, 400 breaths was enough to kill Qin Feiyang and the others countless times. In other words, they couldn't hold on for more than 400 breaths. That's true. Long Chen whispered. The Death God Army, the Kunpeng Sea region, the Sky Dragon Mountain Range, the 10 direct descendant families, these heavenly will powerhouses were actually not the main point. The most terrifying one was the Emperor. This person controlled the power of origin, and more than 1 or 2 heavenly will. If the Emperor didn't make a move, everything was still possible. But if the Emperor made a move, they would have to face a nightmare. Little lunatic, you can choose another place to transcend the tribulation. The Black Tortoise world has grown for so many years, I wonder if it can withstand the tribulation now? Little Qin Zi, why don't you ask that brat? White-Eyed Wolf said. All right. Qin Feiyang nodded, and immediately asked Little Wimp secretly. As for the Emperor, White-Eyed Wolf opened his mouth again. His eyes flashed and he said with a sneaky smile, I have an idea. What? Long Chen and the Sea Lion King looked at him suspiciously. Now that the situation was critical, as long as it wasn't a particularly bad idea, it would be fine. Find someone to go to Imperial Capital Mountain. The Imperial Capital Mountain is their headquarters. As long as someone attacks the Imperial Capital Mountain now, the Emperor will definitely not be able to remain calm. The White-Eyed Wolf cackled. Qin Feiyang, Long Chen, and Sea Lion glanced at each other. He did not expect the White-Eyed Wolf to come up with such a good idea. Not bad. There is no better idea. Imperial Capital Mountain was the sacred ground of the Central Dynasty. There must be a lot of treasures and resources hidden there. It was even possible. More than half of the Central Dynasty's resources were on Imperial Capital Mountain. As long as someone went to the Imperial Capital Mountain now, how could the Emperor remain calm? Furthermore, the person who killed his way to the Imperial Capital Mountain must definitely be powerful enough. Because only in this way can the Emperor go back in person. After all, if we can't lure the Emperor away, no matter how perfect our plan is, it will be meaningless. The White-Eyed Wolf thought. Not bad. You always drop the ball at the critical moment, but now you can come up with such a good idea. Qin Feiyang patted the White-Eyed Wolf's shoulder. This guy was finally reliable for once. Nonsense. I usually just pretend to be stupid. Do you think I'm really stupid? The White-Eyed Wolf smiled proudly. Then who will go? Sea Lion King looked at Qin Feiyang and the other two and asked. Qin Feiyang and the White-Eyed Wolf looked at each other and looked at Long Chen at the same time. Why are you looking at me? You are not going to let me go, are you? Long Chen was stunned. The White-Eyed Wolf bared his teeth and said, Your God's domain is so strong now. There will be no problem. The corner of Long Chen's mouth twitched. Going to the Imperial Capital Mountain alone and facing the Emperor of the Central Dynasty later, he couldn't help but feel his scalp tingle. He said, I think it's better for Brother Qin to go, because in the eyes of the Emperor, Brother Qin's threat is far greater than mine. No. They don't care about you now because they don't know that the person who went to the Imperial Capital Mountain, killed the 9 commanders, and slaughtered Han Zhongqing was you. If they know, you will be more important in their hearts than me. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. Long Chen was speechless. Anyway, I can't run away. You are the number 1 person in our team now. Qin Feiyang laughed. Don't flatter me. Long Chen's face darkened. Number 1? Although my God's domain has evolved, to be honest, I don't have the confidence to defeat Qin Feiyang. 3,000 incarnations, Eye of Heaven, Law of Life and Death, Dual Will of Heavenly Tao, especially the Eye of Heaven. For Qin Feiyang, who grasped the law of time, he only needed to lay down a time array. He didn't need to go to the Black Tortoise world to instantly replicate a large amount of ultimate meaning. In other words, after Qin Feiyang grasped the law of time, the weakness of the Eye of Heaven's replication speed no longer existed. Time is tight, hurry up. The white-eyed wolf urged. Okay. Long Chen had a helpless expression. He directly walked out of the invisible state and opened a space-time passage to leave. Because now, everyone's attention was on the madman. In addition, Long Chen had never appeared in the Central Dynasty. Although Dong Qingyuan and the other giants knew of his existence, the others didn't. The only time he appeared was when he killed the 9 commanders and slaughtered Han Zhongcheng. He was still hiding his identity, so no one paid attention to him. In the sky above the myriad Devil Valley, the madman had already gone completely crazy. The evil power of the myriad Devil Valley crazily poured into his body. From afar, it was as if he was standing in a sea of blood. Imperial Capital Mountain. A space-time passage appeared. A red-haired old man sat cross-legged under a stone tablet. His eyes were narrowed and his aura was extraordinary. The original guard had already died in the hands of Long Chen. When he killed the 9 commanders, he also killed him. Therefore, this red-haired old man was the new guard. He was also a Will of Heavenly Tao expert. Similarly, he also had a low-class sovereign weapon. This was the standard of the guards at the entrance of the Imperial Capital Mountain. Because only those who were strong enough could guard the entrance. Who is it? As Long Chen walked out of the space-time passage, the red-haired old man immediately opened his eyes and looked at Long Chen with vigilance. Because of the previous guard's lesson, this red-haired old man was especially careful. You don't recognize me? Long Chen stood in the sky and smiled faintly. The red-haired old man was slightly taken aback and looked at Long Chen suspiciously. Long Chen shook his head and smiled. Looks like there aren't many people in the Central Dynasty who know me. What do you mean? Is this person not from the Central Dynasty? The red-haired old man was shocked. Clang! In the next moment, he suddenly stood up and a 3-meter-long saber appeared in his hand. Divine aura spread in all directions. This was his sovereign weapon. There was a lifelike azure dragon carved on it. At first glance, it looked like the azure dragon crescent saber. Please remember my name. My name is Long Chen. Long Chen smiled and opened his divinity domain. It was as if he had turned into a god. The red-haired old man immediately felt a strong sense of danger. Long Chen, the red-haired old man murmured. This name sounded familiar. Where had he heard it before? Wait. It seemed that Qin Feiyang had an accomplice called Long Chen. Could it be? The red-haired old man's eyes suddenly widened. These people were too bold. They came to the Imperial Capital Mountain again and again. Following closely. The red-haired old man stared at the divinity domain. What was this thing? Why did it give him such a strong sense of danger? You should be familiar with it. Because someone had seen my divinity domain in Han Zhongcheng. Long Chen smiled. He took a step forward and landed in front of the entrance with the divinity domain. A light screen appeared in front of the entrance. This was the barrier that protected the Imperial Capital Mountain. Han Zhongcheng. The red-haired old man's eyes trembled as he stared at Long Chen and the divinity domain in surprise. Are you the one who killed the 9 great commanders and slaughtered Han Zhongcheng? Congratulations, your answer is correct. Long Chen smiled. Chapter 4498. So it was you who did it. Coming to my imperial capital mountain to kill people, and the ones you killed are the 9 commanders, you really have guts. The red-haired old man's killing intent soared into the sky. Is imperial capital mountain that great? Long Chen smiled faintly and stepped towards the barrier at the entrance. Don't waste your energy. The barrier of imperial capital mountain is formed by the divine kingdom's rule force. With your ability, it's impossible to break the barrier and step into imperial capital mountain. The red-haired old man sneered. Is that so? Since you know that I slaughtered Han Zongcheng, you should know that rule force is useless against me. Facing the red-haired old man's ridicule, Long Chen smiled lightly. When he landed in front of the barrier, the moment his god's domain touched the barrier, the rock-solid barrier began to distort and deform. The red-haired old man was instantly dumbfounded. What was going on? Could it be that the rule force this person controlled in Han Zongcheng was related to this domain? So terrifying. How could there be such a person in this world? Boom! The next moment, the barrier collapsed and turned into rule force. However, this rule force did not dissipate and gathered in front of Long Chen. It was as if he was the ruler of this world. Following closely, Long Chen stepped into Imperial Capital Mountain and looked at the red-haired old man with a faint smile. Can you stop me? What kind of monster are you? The red-haired old man roared in horror and turned around to flee frantically. His face was pale and full of fear. Since ancient times, no one could shake the barrier of Imperial Capital Mountain, let alone break it. But now, this Long Chen actually broke the barrier in an instant without any effort at all. Monster, Long Chen murmured, shook his head and laughed. Not to mention this old man, sometimes even he felt like a monster. Of course. He wasn't the only monster, there were many around him. Where do you want to go? As soon as these words came out, the god's domain quickly expanded and finally merged with this world. It was equivalent to saying, now the entire Imperial Capital Mountain was his domain. Rule force emerged like a tide, crazily rushing towards the red-haired old man. There was nowhere to escape. Because all directions were filled with rule force. The red-haired old man activated his sovereign divine weapon and desperately defended himself. Simultaneously, he also wanted to activate the ultimate intent of ultimate laws. However, he discovered that the power of laws in his body seemed to be sealed and he couldn't activate it. This was the realm of gods? No. Hurry up and inform His Majesty. The red-haired old man was terrified. He took out the divine sound transmission stone. Long Chen didn't stop him. Because this was exactly what he wanted. If he did not give the red-haired old man a chance to send a message, how would the emperor know that he had attacked the Imperial Capital Mountain? In the blink of an eye. Myriad Demons Valley. Madman had already shattered more than 20,000 ultimate profundities. His blood-red hair fluttered in the wind. His 2 blood-red eyes were overflowing with bloody light. Like a peerless demon with a bloody sword in his hand, he swept across the land. What a pity. It would be great if he was from our divine nation. The emperor shook his head regretfully. Not to mention the lunatics in the future, just the lunatics now were enough to dominate the world. It could be said that, without the power of origin, without a powerful sovereign divine weapon, looking at the current divine kingdom, no one was a match for the lunatics. The emperor couldn't figure it out. Why would such an outstanding person be born in the sky cloud realm? The lunatics were the same. Qin Feiyang and Golden Wing Wolf King were the same. What if these 3 were all born in the divine kingdom? Qin Feiyang, Madman Mo, Golden Wing Wolf King, in addition to Lu Yuntian and Lu Yunfeng. There was also Dong Hanzong, Dong Tianchen, Dong Xian, Dong Qin, and Dong Ping. These were a total of 10 peerless geniuses. With these 10 peerless geniuses, who could compete with the divine kingdom? It wasn't impossible for them to dominate the world. Buzz. Just as the emperor was imagining things, the divine sound transmission stone suddenly rang. N. The emperor raised his eyebrows. At this time, who would send him a message? He didn't want to bother. Because right now, he really didn't have the mood to bother. But the divine sound transmission stone kept ringing. The emperor angrily took out the divine sound transmission stone. As it woke up, the image of the red-haired old man appeared. What are you doing? Don't you know that we're busy in the myriad Devil Valley? The emperor said angrily. The red-haired old man shouted, I know, but your majesty, something bad has happened. Long Chen has come to our imperial capital mountain again. Long Chen? He went to imperial capital mountain again? What do you mean? The emperor was stunned. Beside him, Princess Yuxian couldn't help but look at the red-haired old man suspiciously. The red-haired old man shouted anxiously, this Long Chen is the person who came to imperial capital mountain last time, killed the 9 great commanders, and slaughtered Han Zhongcheng. So it's him. The emperor's gaze trembled, and he said in a deep voice, Long Chen. I've heard Dong Qingyuan mention this person before, but is he so strong? Yes. Your Majesty, you should hurry back, otherwise imperial capital mountain will be razed to the ground by him. The red-haired old man was burning with anxiety. Raze imperial capital mountain to the ground? The emperor was stunned and mocked, he can't even enter imperial capital mountain, how can he raze it to the ground? Don't be an alarmist here, just guard your gate. After we get rid of Madman Imo, we will immediately return. It's too late, he has already entered imperial capital mountain. The red-haired old man roared. What? The emperor's face suddenly changed. Princess Yuxian's face also changed. He has already entered imperial capital mountain, how is this possible? The red-haired old man said, he can control the rule force of our divine kingdom, the barrier of imperial capital mountain is useless against him. Bastard! The emperor roared, and thunder raged. What's the situation? This roar startled all directions. Countless people looked at the emperor. What happened? Why did the emperor suddenly become so angry? Hee. Suddenly, a faint laughter sounded, and a white figure appeared behind the red-haired old man. This person is? Everyone looked at the young man in white who suddenly appeared in surprise. Long Chen. Dong Hanzong's pupils shrank, and he roared, why are you at imperial capital mountain? Not only me, we are all at imperial capital mountain. You guys went to Thousand Devil Valley to kill Madman, of course we can't be at a disadvantage, so we took the opportunity to come and destroy your nest. I think there should be a lot of divine objects in this imperial capital mountain. Long Chen chuckled. Then, with a wave of his hand, accompanied by a loud clang, the ruler divine weapon Sky Dragon Sword appeared. The red-haired old man's face turned pale, and the Zanmadeo in his hand erupted with a destructive power, slashing towards Long Chen. Low-level ruler divine weapon, don't take it out and embarrass yourself. Long Chen shook his head. With a slash of the Sky Dragon Sword, the Zanmadeo shattered on the spot. That's right. It was shattered. A ruler divine weapon was destroyed just like that. Although it was a low-level ruler divine weapon, it was destroyed just like that, who knows how many people's hearts ached. This guy, no matter what, it's a ruler divine weapon, doesn't he know how to keep it? The white-eyed wolf, who was invisible, kept twitching the corner of his mouth. It was really a waste of God's gift. Don't be in a hurry to come back, we still want to walk around Imperial Capital Mountain. After shattering the Zanmadeo, Long Chen looked at the emperor with a smile, and another sword fell. The red-haired old man, who was unable to activate the ultimate profound, could only watch as the Sky Dragon Sword came. Your Majesty, save me. Accompanied by a desperate scream, the red-haired old man died on the spot. The reason why Long Chen killed the red-haired old man so quickly was because he didn't want the red-haired old man to speak. Because the red-haired old man knew that only Long Chen went to Imperial Capital Mountain alone. If the red-haired old man exposed this lie, the emperor would definitely be suspicious. After all, the emperor was not a fool. If the emperor knew that only Long Chen went to Imperial Capital Mountain alone, he might think that this was their plan to lure the tiger away from the mountain. At that time, maybe the emperor would have other arrangements. You really don't know what's good for you. Seeing this scene with his own eyes, the emperor's eyebrows were filled with hostility. Not only did he barge into Imperial Capital Mountain, but he also killed people of Imperial Capital Mountain in front of him. This was not only a provocation to the Central Dynasty, but also a provocation to his dignity as the emperor. It was simply unforgivable. Moon Immortal, stay here and help. You must kill Madman Mo. The emperor looked at the Moon Immortal princess and said before opening a space-time tunnel. Chapter 4499. Father, are you okay to go back alone? Princess Moon Fairy was a little worried. Because Long Chen had personally said that they were all at Imperial Capital Mountain. This, they must be referring to Qin Feiyang, the white-eyed wolf, and the golden-winged wolf king. Don't worry. I have the power of origin in my hands. Today, Imperial Capital Mountain will be his burial ground. The emperor stepped into the space-time channel with murderous intent. Phew. The Sea Lion Demon King couldn't help but let out a long breath. The biggest threat had finally left. Don't be too careless. Since the emperor dares to let Princess Moon Fairy stay behind, it means that this woman must have the power of origin in her hands. Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice. Why didn't he bring Princess Moon Fairy back to Imperial Capital Mountain? This way, they would be more confident. Hearing this, the Sea Lion Demon King's expression stiffened, and his heart became uneasy again. Look at your cowardice. If it weren't for the fact that you are pitiful and homeless, would have chased you away long ago. The white-eyed wolf looked at him with disdain. After all, he was a demon king who controlled the will of the heavenly Tao. Couldn't he be a little more ambitious? The Sea Lion Demon King wanted to cry but had no tears. Who could blame him for being cowardly? Didn't he see who his opponent was? Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, Kuanpang, the Dragon God, about 120,000 heavenly Tao powerhouses, and Princess Moon Fairy who might have the power of origin. How could he not be nervous with such a terrifying lineup? The fact that he could stay here and not run away was already praiseworthy of his courage. Stop talking nonsense. It's time for us to make a move. Qin Feiyang, Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, Kuanpang, and the Dragon God's eyes gradually turned cold. Long Chen couldn't drag it out for long. Although his god's domain was very heaven-defying, he had personally said that he hadn't controlled the power of origin of the divine kingdom yet. Even just interfering was very difficult. So, he had to end the battle quickly. No. He couldn't continue fighting. He had to think of a way to take the madman away from Thousand Demons Valley and find another place to transcend the tribulation. Only then could he truly escape danger. What did that brat say? White-eyed Wolf asked. He hasn't replied to me yet. He probably isn't confident either. Qin Feiyang shook his head. That's a little tricky. White-eyed Wolf frowned. However, right at this moment, Little Wimp's voice rang out in Qin Feiyang's mind. Brat, let that little lunatic come in and undergo the tribulation. Can the Black Tortoise realm withstand it? Qin Feiyang's spirits were lifted. Hold my ass. The little brat seemed to be very angry. He seemed to be disdaining Qin Feiyang and the others for always causing trouble for him. If he can't withstand it, you still want him to go to the Black Tortoise world to undergo the tribulation? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Although we can't withstand it, the Black Tortoise realm has grown a lot over the years. Not to mention how strong it is, it's at least a lot stronger than when you were undergoing the tribulation. Just now, Fire Lotus and I have already moved the western region, and the northern region's living beings and resources are specially set aside for Lunatic to undergo the tribulation. Little Wimp said snappily. So that's how it is. Thank you. Qin Feiyang suddenly understood and was extremely grateful to this little brat. As long as he could enter the Black Tortoise realm to undergo the tribulation, then most of the problem would be solved. Moreover, the Black Tortoise realm had a time array. Even though Lunatic spent half a day in the Black Tortoise realm to undergo the tribulation, only a moment had passed outside. Immediately, Qin Feiyang told the White-Eyed Wolf and the Sea Lion Demon King the good news. That's great. As long as Lunatic can enter the Black Tortoise realm, then with your speed, escaping the encirclement will be easy. The Sea Lion Demon King laughed in joy. Easy? Qin Feiyang and the White-Eyed Wolf looked at each other and the corners of their mouths twitched. How could it be so easy? But no matter what. As long as Lunatic could enter the Black Tortoise realm to undergo the tribulation, the situation would be much better. Let's do it. The White-Eyed Wolf transmitted his voice. Qin Feiyang nodded and said to the Sea Lion Demon King, "You deal with these people who are here to join in the fun." The Sea Lion Demon King swept his gaze across the crowd. Although there was a sea of people around, none of them had grasped the will of the heavenly Tao, so there was nothing to worry about. Boss Qin really took care of him and gave him such an easy task. Leave it to me. If he still didn't dare to nod, then he would really lose face. Huff. Qin Feiyang let out a long breath. In the next moment, he took a step forward, leading the White-Eyed Wolf and Sea Lion Demon King to land silently behind Princess Yuxian, Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, Heaven Dragon God, Heart Demon, and Lu Jiajin. At the same time, the second wave of attacks had been completed and they were only waiting for Dong Qingyuan's order. More than 700,000 ultimate mysteries floated in the air, emitting a destructive power. Now's the time. Qin Feiyang's eyes surged with murderous intent. The 3,000 incarnations and the Eye of Heaven opened almost at the same time. Roar! A series of deafening dragon roars took place. Following that, a destructive aura erupted between the heavens and the earth. Everyone present couldn't help but be shocked and immediately looked up. They saw Qin Feiyang, the White-Eyed Wolf, and the Sea Lion Demon King standing in the air. Qin Feiyang's 3,000 incarnations stood neatly behind the three of them. Above each incarnation's head, there was a purple gold dragon soul. In between the dragon soul's eyebrows, there was an eye that could make heaven and earth tremble. This was the Eye of Heaven. What's going on? Aren't they on Imperial Capital Mountain? Could it be? Everyone was surprised. The 3,000 purple gold dragon souls almost filled half the sky, emitting a monstrous dragon aura. And in the void under the feet of the 3,000 incarnations, there was a time array visible to the naked eye. They stood in the center of the time array, like gods descending. Not to mention the onlookers, even the Death God army, Beast Kings, and Demon Kings couldn't help but feel fear. This was a kind of instinctive fear. This was Qin Feiyang's current prestige. No matter how strong one was, as long as they saw him, they would instinctively feel fear. And above the 3,000 incarnations dragon souls, ultimate mysteries were constantly being replicated. Stepping on the time array, one day was equivalent to 5,000 years. This replication speed naturally couldn't be compared to before. It was just a blink of an eye. Above the 3,000 incarnations' heads, there were hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries, emitting a divine aura that made people feel fear. Kill. All of this was said to be slow, but the whole process was just a blink of an eye. Suddenly, the 3,000 incarnations roared in unison, and their killing intent shook the sky. At this moment, heaven and earth changed color, and the void collapsed crazily, like a scene of doomsday. Rumble. Hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries were like a torrent, rushing toward Dong Hanzong and the others. Kuan Peng's expression changed. The dragon god's expression changed. Dong Qingyuan's face was also pale. The inner demons and Lu Jiajin's eyes flickered, and they didn't intend to resist at all. They definitely didn't want to fight with Qin Feiyang and the others. But with so many people present, and Princess Yuxian personally overseeing it, they couldn't just stand by and watch. Therefore, there was only one way. They were seriously injured. Only when they were seriously injured would they have a reason not to make a move. However, they couldn't just sit and wait for death. With hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries, if they just stood there and let themselves be beaten, they would definitely end up with their bodies and souls destroyed. Therefore, after pretending to be shocked, the inner demons immediately activated the momentary time, dual wills of the heavenly Tao, turned around, and flew away. Yes. Their shock was just an act for others to see. Because they already knew that Qin Feiyang and the others were hiding here. Since they already knew, what was there to be shocked about? Therefore, they still had to put on an act. In the face of such a sudden attack, if they didn't even put on an act, it would definitely arouse suspicion. Chapter 4500. The inner demons had dual wills of the heavenly Tao and were very fast. They could barely avoid the direct attack of hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries. However, Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, Kuan Peng, the dragon god, Princess Yuxian and the others were not so lucky. Boom! As hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries arrived, the people standing in front of the entrance of the Thousand Demons Valley, whether it was Dong Qingyuan and the others, the members of the Death God Army, the Demon King, the Beast King, or the people of the 10 direct families, were drowned by the ultimate mysteries on the spot. To them, this was a devastating blow. Although at this moment, in order to kill Lunatic, they had once again activated their ultimate mysteries, but they were scattered. About 120,000 strong heavenly Tao powerhouses were scattered in all directions of the Thousand Demons Valley. There were only about 10,000 people at the entrance. Of course. It definitely did not include those who were behind them. If they were included, the number would naturally be immeasurable. But don't think that just because there were more than 10,000 people, they could be underestimated. These 10,000 people all grasped the will of the heavenly Tao, and some even grasped 7 or 8 ultimate mysteries of the strongest laws. More than 10,000 people, which meant that there were 60 to 70,000 ultimate mysteries. Facing 60 to 70,000 ultimate mysteries, without the 3,000 incarnations, the all-evil sword, the Demon King true body, the universe domain, and the origin energy, who could compete? So, to ordinary people, this was an invincible existence. But in front of Qin Feiyang, it was far from enough. Moreover, as it was a surprise attack, there were not many who could react in time. Rumble, hundreds of thousands of ultimate intents erupted with a world-destroying divine might. The Demon King, Beast King, members of the Death God Army, and the people of the 10 direct families at the entrance all died on the spot. After all, these were hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries. How could the mere 10,000 or so people at the entrance be able to stop them? Moreover, the barrier that the Death God Army had set up to seal the Thousand Demons Valley also collapsed on the spot. So strong. The people behind who were watching the show came back to their senses and kept retreating. The Sea Lion Demon King stared at these people and said with a murderous aura, "You all better be sensible. If you dare to interfere, don't blame me for being ruthless and destroying all of you. This was the task given to him by Qin Feiyang, to prevent these miscellaneous people from interfering. Hearing the sea lion monster king's words, whether it was the humans, the beasts, or the sea beasts, they were all terrified. At the same time, the inner demons and Lu Jiajin looked at each other and slowed down, following closely. The two of them were engulfed by the terrifying battle aura. Immediately, they screamed in pain as their bodies were crushed. Damn it! Qin Feiyang, I will not let you off. The inner demon spat out some harsh words before fleeing with Lu Jiajin without looking back. This way, they would have a reason to avoid the battle. It's a pity that these two fellows aren't actors. The white-eyed wolf secretly gritted his teeth. Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf knew that the inner demons and Lu Jiajin were faking it. However, the sea lion demon king didn't know. Because he still didn't know the relationship between the inner demons and Qin Feiyang and the others. Seeing that the inner demons and Lu Jiajin were seriously injured and their bodies were crushed, he couldn't help but sigh in relief. These two were the strongest existences in the Central Dynasty. Their bodies were crushed, which was undoubtedly a great loss for the Central Dynasty. And for them, there were two less powerful enemies for the time being. Let's go. Let's meet up with senior brother. Qin Feiyang glanced at the people behind who were watching the fun. These people were tactful and didn't come to cause trouble for him. Then, he activated the momentary time and the dual will of the heavenly Tao, bringing the white-eyed wolf and the sea lion monster king toward the myriad demons valley. Boom! However, at this moment, a terrifying aura erupted. Qin Feiyang and the others were shocked. They hurriedly looked down and saw several figures walking out of the dust. It was the Moon Immortal Princess, Dong Qingyuan, Kunpeng, and the Dragon God. They were also in a sorry state, with bloodstains all over their bodies. However, they didn't suffer any fatal injuries. This was because there was a barrier around them that was emitting a five-colored divine light. This barrier was protecting them. This barrier was formed from the condensed power of the origin source. This woman indeed has the origin energy in her hands. The white-eyed wolf's eyes darkened. You guys really don't know what's good for you. Another bone-chilling voice sounded. Qin Feiyang and the others followed the voice and saw Dong Hanzong walking out of the dust. There was also a domain around him. Obviously. Previously, he had activated the Qian Kun domain and the invincible body. You actually have the origin energy? Why didn't you say so earlier? If you had said so earlier, we wouldn't have run. Our bodies wouldn't have been destroyed by them. Seeing the Moon Immortal Princess and the others walking out safely, the inner demons and Lu Jiajin were stunned. Then, the inner demons glared at the Moon Immortal Princess and roared in dissatisfaction. Obviously. The inner demons and the others didn't know that the Moon Immortal Princess had the origin energy in her hands. Who told you to run? You deserve it. The Moon Immortal Princess rolled her eyes. Although she was very annoyed by her inner demon's attitude, she did not suspect the two of them. These people are really lucky. They didn't die even after that. Looking at them, the white-eyed wolf was a little angry. Ignore them. Qin Feiyang didn't stop and continued to rush towards the myriad demons valley. You guys are really strong. In just an instant, you caused the Central Dynasty to suffer heavy losses and even tricked my father back to the imperial capital mountain. But if you think you can save the madman like this, you are gravely mistaken. Today is the day you die. The Moon Immortal Princess's eyes flashed with cold light. The barrier around her collapsed and turned into a terrifying origin energy that surged into the sky. Firstly, it was to stop Qin Feiyang and the others from meeting up with the madman. Secondly, it was to kill a few people. Naturally, she had full confidence in the origin energy. Damn woman, you are really courting death. Looking at this scene, the white-eyed wolf's eyes flashed with killing intent. Boom! At the same time, Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, and the dragon god all attacked. Various ultimate intents appeared out of nowhere. Moreover, the dragon god and Kuanpeng summoned their pinnacle dominator divine weapons. They instantly awakened and burst out with destructive power. Especially Dong Hanzong. When enemies meet, their eyes turn red. The sealed god domain, god-slaying domain, clear heaven domain, and undying domain were all activated at the same time. Now, he was almost invincible. Moreover, the clear heaven domain gave him 2 wills of the great path. Today, the myriad demons valley will be your burial ground. He let out a ferocious roar as he raised his hand and waved it fiercely. An invisible force instantly rushed towards Qin Feiyang and the other 2 like a tide. This was the power of the sealed god domain. Once submerged by this force, Qin Feiyang and the others' power, divine power, and law energy would be sealed. As a result, no matter how strong they were, they would not be able to use it. 2 bosses, quickly think of a way. The sea lion beast king was so scared that he almost peed his pants. The white-eyed wolf's battle soul could restrain Dong Hanzong's domain. Qin Feiyang's strength was enough to crush Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, and the dragon god, including the 2 pinnacle dominator divine weapons. However, even if they risked their lives, they would not be able to block the origin energy of the Moon Immortal Princess. Why are you panicking? They have help, so do we. The white-eyed wolf shouted coldly and transmitted his voice, Little Qin Zi, it's time to let them out. Qin Feiyang nodded. Chapter 4501. Of course, he was referring to the demon ancestor, Dong Zhengyang, Mu Tianyang, and Lin Yi. As for Mu Qing, although his omniscient eye had the power of omniscient, it didn't have much use in battle. So, he only needed to help monitor the Emperor's movements in the Black Tortoise realm. Don't think that his role in the Black Tortoise realm was not significant. On the contrary, he was the key to victory or defeat. Because the enemy's every move was under his surveillance. Swish! With Qin Feiyang's thought, Mu Tianyang, Dong Zhengyang, Lin Yi, and the demon ancestor appeared beside the 3. It's up to you. Qin Feiyang said. Okay. Lin Yi nodded, and the Eye of Oblivion opened instantly, locking onto Dong Hanzong, Princess Moon Fairy, Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, and the Dragon God. The Eye of Oblivion suddenly displayed a heaven-defying power. The minds of the 5 people instantly went blank. Their memories were forcibly deprived. You are all my servants. Immediately withdraw your origin power, ultimate meaning, and sovereign divine weapon. Lin Yi said. Her words were the law. Princess Moon Fairy and the other 4 immediately withdrew their ultimate meaning, origin power, and sovereign divine weapon. What's going on? Just by looking at Dong Hanzong and the others, she can control their minds? In the distance, the eyes of the onlookers were full of disbelief. What the hell is this? It's too terrifying. The Eye of Oblivion is really powerful. Lu Jiajin chuckled. I didn't expect this girl to become an existence that can threaten the central dynasty. No. It shouldn't be said that she is a threat. It should be an extreme threat. The inner demons looked at Lin Yi and couldn't help but recall the scene when she was controlled by the demon ancestor, lost her memory, and fought with them in the past. At that time, Lin Yi wasn't a big shot at all, and she wasn't very strong. The demon ancestor controlled her because of her value and importance in Qin Feiyang's heart. But who would have thought? After so many years. How did this weak girl become a threat to the central dynasty? Although she had yet to fully integrate the inheritance of the ultimate profundity and grasp the will of the great path, no one dared to underestimate her with just the eye of oblivion. Go! Lin Yi looked at Qin Feiyang. With a wave of his hand, Qin Feiyang swept them up and flew over the Moon Fairy Princess and the others, directly entering the sky above the Myriad Demons Valley. The white-eyed wolf asked in confusion, "Little Yi, why don't you let the Moon Fairy Princess give all of her origin energy to us? In that case, they would have an absolute chance of winning. I haven't grasped the will of the heavenly Tao yet, so I can't control her for long. Doing this is taking a risk. Because it's very likely that she has already broken free from the control of the Eye of Oblivion before the origin energy is delivered to us." Lin Yi transmitted her voice. The best proof of that was when Zhang Xian managed to subdue the old man on the floating island. With Lin Yi's current cultivation, it was still a little difficult to control the powerhouse of heaven's will. Sure enough. The moment Qin Feiyang and the others entered the Myriad Demons Valley, the Moon Fairy Princess and the others suddenly recovered their memories and consciousness. This is the Eye of Oblivion, they were shocked to the extreme. What a pity. If this girl has the will of the heavenly Tao and can control it for a longer time, she might be able to obtain the origin energy in the hands of the Moon Fairy Princess. Lu Jiajin shook his head with some regret. Don't worry. The appearance of the demon ancestor and the others means that the show has just begun. The inner demon snickered. Not good. They have entered the Myriad Demons Valley. Kunpeng came back to his senses and looked at the sky above the Myriad Demons Valley. His expression suddenly changed. Unexpectedly, in just a blink of an eye, these people broke through their blockade and successfully entered the Myriad Demons Valley. Eye of Oblivion, this was another existence that posed a great threat to them. Don't even think about it. The Moon Fairy Princess shouted coldly. The retracted origin energy immediately turned into a 3-foot-long sword, tore through the sky, and charged towards Qin Feiyang and the others. Do you think I don't exist? Mu Tianyang suddenly turned around and activated the Eye of Evil. The Moon Fairy Princess' 7 emotions and 6 desires were instantly ignited. Her entire person directly entered a state of madness, as if she was possessed. As she waved her hand, the 3-foot-long sword formed by the origin energy immediately turned in the air and charged towards Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, Kunpeng, and the Dragon God. Your Highness! What are you doing? Wake up! Don't be controlled by the Eye of Despair. The 4 of them suddenly changed their expressions. Seeing that the Moon Fairy Princess had no intention of waking up, and instead revealed a ferocious look, they quickly turned around and fled. Even Dong Hanzong, who had an invincible body in the Undying Domain, did not dare to face the origin energy head-on. At the same time, Qin Feiyang and the others rushed to the madman's side. At this moment, the void around the madman was filled with the evil energy of the Myriad Demons Valley. Moreover, because the evil energy of the entire Myriad Demons Valley was rushing towards the madman at this moment, the evil energy here had far exceeded the original Myriad Demons Valley. Even Qin Feiyang, in an instant, felt that the power of law, power, divine soul, divine power, and so on in his body were being eroded crazily. According to his inference. Now, he could only stay by the madman's side for 10 breaths at most. Once 10 breaths were up, he would die without a doubt. One must know. In the original Myriad Demons Valley, he could stay for about half an hour. But now, he could only stay by the madman's side for 10 breaths. One could imagine how terrifying was the evil energy around the madman now. I knew that you must be hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to move. The madman bared his teeth. The white-eyed wolf said in a deep voice, "Don't talk nonsense, hurry up and go to the Black Tortoise world." No matter how terrifying the evil energy was, he was not afraid. But Qin Feiyang, Sea Lion Demon King, Demon Ancestor, Mu Tianyang, and Dong Zhengyang could not resist the erosion of these evil energy. Especially Lin Yi. She had not mastered the will of heavenly Tao yet. The current her was almost at her limit. What? Go to the Black Tortoise world? Don't joke around, such a terrifying heavenly tribulation. If you go to the Black Tortoise world to transcend the tribulation, won't the Black Tortoise world suffer? No. No matter what, we can't implicate the creatures of the Black Tortoise world. The madman shook his head. The creatures of the Black Tortoise world were Qin Feiyang's treasures. And once, because of the selfless blood of these creatures, they had helped them through many crises and calamities. So, not only Qin Feiyang, but the madman also had a lot of feelings for the creatures of the Black Tortoise world. Don't worry. What you can think of, that kid has already thought of it. He has already vacated the western and northern regions for you to transcend the tribulation. The white-eyed wolf said. Specifically vacated the western and northern regions for me to transcend the tribulation? The madman was taken aback. His heart was suddenly moved. Although this kid was usually a bit overbearing, no one was more reliable than him at critical moments. Go quickly. Hurry up and transcend the tribulation. If we can't break out of the encirclement, we will inevitably face a fierce battle later. With a wave of his hand, Qin Feiyang sent the madman to the Black Tortoise world. The tribulation clouds and the roaring thunder in the sky also disappeared. Brother Wolf, help me. At this time, Lin Yi's cry for help also sounded. The white-eyed wolf looked at Lin Yi, and his face changed drastically. Lin Yi's eyes were bloodshot as if she was possessed by the devil, but her face was pale. Even her life aura was dissipating rapidly. Obviously, she could no longer resist the erosion of the evil energy. Chapter 4502. The evil forces here can't be devoured completely. I have to leave it for the little madman. After the little madman transcends the tribulation, he will definitely need it. The white-eyed wolf murmured. No. We can't leave it here because they already know that senior brother can absorb these evil forces and can increase the power of the all-evil sword. So, when the time comes, they will definitely transfer the evil forces here or destroy them. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Makes sense. Okay, I'll devour them all. The white-eyed wolf laughed. It's a waste for you to devour them. Instead of letting you devour them, it's better to transfer all the evil forces here to the Black Tortoise realm so that senior brother can absorb them while transcending the tribulation. Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. Transfer? The white-eyed wolf was taken aback. With so many evil forces and so many enemies, how could it be done in a short time? I'll leave it to you guys. Qin Feiyang looked at the demon ancestor and Mu Tianyang. We'll do our best. The two nodded. Qin Feiyang looked at Dong Zhengyang again. Dong Zhengyang smiled and said, I've already seen our destiny. Let's do it. As soon as this sentence came out, Qin Feiyang and the others were immediately energized. Although Dong Zhengyang didn't say it explicitly, the words "let's do it" were enough to show that they wouldn't die here. In short, as long as they listened to Dong Zhengyang's arrangements, they would be fine. Because he had the eye of destiny, he already knew the outcome. All of you, come closer. The white-eyed wolf looked at Qin Feiyang, Lin Yi, Dong Zhengyang, the demon ancestor, and Mu Tianyang. The five stretched out their hands and placed them on the white-eyed wolf's shoulders. Immediately, the evil forces in their bodies were frantically absorbed by the white-eyed wolf. Simultaneously, Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the Thousand Devil Valley's nefarious energy surged out from all directions, entering the Black Tortoise world through his forehead. Black Tortoise world. At the border between the western and northern regions. The sky. Tribulation clouds surged as blood lightning roared. I can finally transcend the tribulation in peace. Just you wait. Once I succeed in my tribulation, I'll slaughter all of you. The madman laughed as he faced the heavenly tribulation. But at this moment, suddenly, a large amount of evil energy appeared in the void. Madman was stunned. Isn't this the evil power of the Myriad Demons Valley? Because he had stayed in the Myriad Devils Valley for so many years, he was very familiar with the evil power of the Myriad Devils Valley. What's going on? Why would the Thousand Devils Valley's evil forces invade the Black Tortoise world? Could it be, was old Qin helping him transfer these evil forces? But the situation outside was so critical, how could they still do such a thing? He really did need this evil power. But they couldn't risk their lives just because he needed them. Old Qin, don't stay in Myriad Demons Valley any longer. Hurry up and leave. The madman transmitted his voice. I've already obtained Dong Zhengyang's permission. You can transcend the tribulation without worry. Qin Feiyang's voice sounded in the void. Dong Zhengyang's permission, the madman muttered. Then, the corner of his mouth raised slightly. Since he had already obtained Dong Zhengyang's permission, then the problem wasn't big. Thank you for your kindness. I'll accept it. The madman laughed as he went all out. While absorbing the evil energy, he held the all-evil sword in his hand and fought against the heavenly tribulation. Brat was wise. The aura of the heavenly tribulation and the all-evil sword were too strong. Every time they collided, a destructive shockwave would be born. In just a few dozen breaths of time, the western and northern regions were almost destroyed. Fortunately, the current Black Tortoise world has grown a lot and is bigger than before. As long as we use the origin power to block it, we can block the fluctuations of the heavenly tribulation and won't endanger the eastern, southern, central, and Devil's Land. Otherwise, the disaster caused by the last tribulation will happen again. Brat stood in the sky above the Devil's Land, looking at the madman in the image in front of him, and said happily. N. The fire lotus beside him nodded. Outside. Your Highness, wake up, if you don't wake up, we will all die in your hands. Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, Kuanpang, and the dragon god shouted crazily as they fled for their lives. At this moment, they didn't have the demeanor of a big shot at all. They were like a few mice, fleeing in all directions. However, Princess Wuxia acted as if she didn't hear it, and her expression became even more ferocious. His originally clear eyes were now dyed red with blood, looking extremely terrifying. Interesting. If this woman really kills Dong Hanzong and the others, I wonder what expression the emperor will have. The inner demons snickered. Impossible. Although Mu Tianyang has already grasped the will of the heavenly Tao, he can't control her for long. Lu Jiajin shook his head. It was true. As soon as Lu Jiajin finished speaking, Princess Wuxia suddenly quivered, and the blood in her eyes quickly receded, leaving behind a trace of confusion. Your Highness. You're finally awake, quickly withdraw your origin force. Dong Qingyuan exclaimed happily. N. Princess Wuxia looked in the direction of the voice, and when she saw the origin force crazily attacking Dong Qingyuan and the others, her expression changed greatly. She quickly waved her hand, and the long sword formed by the origin force steadily stopped in front of them. If she was a step late, they might have lost their lives. What's going on with me? Why would I attack the people around me? Princess Wuxia murmured. Suddenly, she recalled that before she lost her mind, there was a man who seemed to have opened an eye. Whoosh! She immediately looked at the sky above the Thousand Demons Valley, and her gaze directly locked onto Mu Tianyang. When she saw the eye of despair again, her emotions that had been stabilized with great difficulty almost lost control again. "It's you." A wave of anger rose within him. First, it was the eye of oblivion, and now it was the eye of despair. Over and over again. It was simply unforgivable. "Kill them for me." Following her cold shout, it resounded in all directions. Rumble. Immediately. The beast kings, monster kings, and members of the death god army that surrounded the Thousand Demons Valley all exuded a shocking murderous aura. In the next moment, the ultimate profound that had been brewing for a long time suddenly moved, attacking Qin Feiyang and the others from all directions. "If you want to kill us, you can't do it without the origin force," Qin Feiyang whispered. Roar. The 3,000 incarnations activated, and the purple-gold dragon soul appeared. The eye of heaven was instantly opened. At the same time, a time array appeared under the feet of the 3,000 incarnations. "Copy all of them for me," Qin Feiyang shouted in a low voice. With the eruption of the eye of heaven, pieces of ultimate profound continued to appear, and with the support of the time law under the feet, the eye of heaven copied all of the ultimate profound in just a few breaths. The previous eye of heaven did indeed have its drawbacks. If it was in the past, it would take a long time to copy so many ultimate profound. But now, Qin Feiyang grasped the time array for 1 day and 5,000 years. It was even better for him to make up for this flaw. It could be said that now, even if there were millions of ultimate profound, he could copy them all in a short time with the help of the time array. Are the 10 strongest fighting souls also heaven-defying? Princess Moon Fairy murmured. The eye of oblivion, the eye of despair, and now the eye of heaven. Without the origin force, the strength of these few people would be enough to contend with the entire death god army. Why didn't I think of this before? Little Qin Z can use the time array to speed up the replication of the eye of heaven. Then, can't my fighting soul do the same? The white-eyed wolf looked at Qin Feiyang, his eyes shining. With this thought, he couldn't help but feel excited. If he could really use the time array to speed up the replication of his fighting soul, then wouldn't his combat strength be more terrifying than little Qin Z's? This was because the special abilities of his fighting soul were the most deadly. Deprive the fighting soul, cultivation, and laws. As long as it succeeded, no matter how strong the opponent was, they would become useless. There was also little Crazy's blood eye. The petrification speed of the blood eye was also relatively slow. If the little madman could also borrow the power of the time formation to speed up the petrification process, then with their combined power, as well as Long Chen, the devil ancestor, and Mu Tianyang, they really might be able to contend against the Central Dynasty. Chapter 4503. Boom! The ultimates from both sides finally collided. In total, there were more than 1 million ultimates. What kind of scene was this? How terrifying was this? Your Highness, quickly use your origin energy to seal the Thousand Demons Valley. Dong Qingyuan said in a deep voice. If such a terrifying collision was not sealed, it would probably affect millions of miles away and cause countless casualties. If the Central Dynasty was covered in corpses and rivers of blood just to eliminate Qin Feiyang and the others, it would not be worth it. It would be best if the Central Dynasty could kill these people without sacrificing anything. But he had never thought that there would be such an easy thing in the world. There was a saying that only with effort could there be gains. In war, this saying could also be used. Only with sacrifice could there be victory. How could it be possible to eliminate the enemy without sacrificing a single soldier? I don't have enough origin energy to seal the Thousand Demons Valley, Princess Yuxian said. This, Dong Qingyuan's expression froze. Although he was the Emperor's confidant, he did not know how much origin energy the Emperor and Princess Wuxia had. What should he do now? Did he really have to sacrifice those innocent lives to kill these people? Rumble. Crack. The shockwaves of the battle erupted like a tsunami, surging in all directions. Wherever it went, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. It was like the end of the world. Before, Lunatic's confrontation with the heavenly tribulation and the ultimates did not endanger the creatures outside the Thousand Demons Valley. This was because there were 120,000 Will of Heaven powerhouses sealing the shockwaves of the battle. Moreover, now that more than 1 million ultimates were colliding, the destructive shockwaves had far surpassed Lunatic's. Therefore, if he wanted to seal the shockwaves of the battle, he had to have enough origin energy. There was no other way. What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and run. Let's see if you have the right to join in the fun. The Kunpeng turned its head to look at the sea of people behind it and roared. The humans, ferocious beasts, and sea beasts that came to join in the fun were all scared silly. Hearing the Kunpeng's roar, they could not help but shudder and turn around to escape. They used all kinds of methods. Some opened spacetime teleportation channels. Some opened teleportation divine artifacts. There were also people who activated the instant time as if they were fleeing for their lives. Everyone, listen up. Try your best to block the shockwaves from the battle. Looking at the chaotic crowd, Princess Wuxia slightly frowned. She swept her gaze in every direction of Myriad Devil Valley and shouted, "Everyone, listen up. Try your best to block the fluctuations of the battle." Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, streaks of heavenly laws appeared and gathered in the sky, forming a barrier that was as tall as the sky. In the meantime, Princess Wuxia also waved her hand, and a wave of origin energy appeared, sealing the barrier in front of the entrance. The origin energy she possessed was only enough to seal off this direction. Rumble. Waves of battle surged out. The barrier formed by the origin energy was not affected at all. But in the other directions, the barriers formed by the monster kings, beast kings, and members of the death god army were not as tough. With the surging of the battle, the barrier immediately began to distort and deform, as if it could shatter at any time. No. This has already far exceeded their limits. Even if they put their lives on the line, they won't be able to hold on for long. Princess Wuxia saw this scene with her own eyes, and she was extremely worried. If this continued, the barrier would break, and the people in Myriad Devil Valley would be plunged into misery and suffering. Suddenly, she turned her head to look at the fleeing people and shouted, "When you go back, tell the city lords in this area to evacuate immediately with the people in the city. The further the better." Yes. Although they were all responding, they did not turn their heads. Because they did not dare to turn their heads. They were afraid that if they turned their heads, they would be delayed for a moment and lose their lives here. Qin Feiyang and the others saw all of this, but they did not take it to heart. It did not matter to them whether the people in the central dynasty lived or died. In fact, if the central dynasty really fell into a bloodbath, it would be a good thing for them. It was not because they were heartless, nor was it because they were indifferent. Because the people in the central dynasty, whether they were direct descendants, or collateral descendants, they were all the emperor's descendants. The beasts and sea beasts here also served the emperor as their master. In other words, their deaths were not to be regretted. More than 1 million ultimates, they were almost evenly matched. Even if there was a gap, whether it was Qin Feiyang or Princess Wuxia and the others, they could easily make up for it with their powerful strength. And the evil power in Myriad Devil Valley had already been transferred. Transferring and absorbing were two different concepts. No matter how fast the absorption was, it still needed a process. But transferring was a large-scale transfer, so it did not need much time. As long as they transferred all the evil power here to the Black Tortoise realm, they could begin to think of a way to break out. I promise, no, I swear that today, you will all die here. Princess Wuxia stared at Qin Feiyang and the others, her eyes flashing with a cold light. Is that so? You want to protect the people in the Central Dynasty, then we will kill them. I want to see how you will let us die here today. White-eyed Wolf cackled and turned to the demon ancestor. It's your turn. Let her experience the taste of despair. The demon ancestor smiled. The eye of despair opened. When the eye of despair locked onto them, Princess Wuxia, Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, Kuanping, and the dragon god immediately fell into the abyss of despair, unable to extricate themselves. As Princess Wuxia fell into despair, the origin energy she controlled lost its balance. The barrier formed by the origin energy collapsed with a loud bang. Following the collapse of the barrier, the terrifying shockwaves from the battle poured out from the entrance like a torrent that had been opened. The first to bear the brunt was Dong Hanzong and the others. They were all sent flying, blood gushing out of their bodies. Because now, they did not have the protection of the origin energy. The only one who was unharmed was Dong Hanzong. Although he had also fallen into despair, his Qian Kuan domain did not disappear. With the invincible body, he would be invincible for an hour. Even Dong Qingyuan and the others were in mortal danger, let alone the other living beings. Those who had grasped the law of spacetime, had the spacetime teleportation artifact, and had the instant time were relatively lucky. Because now, they had successfully escaped from Myriad Devil Valley. But those who did not have these means were about to face a disaster. Mountains collapsed crazily one after another. The void and the firmament were sinking, as if the end of the world had arrived. And those who fled, without exception, were all destroyed along with the collapsing mountains. The void and the firmament were splattered with blood on the spot. More than 1,000,000 ultimate laws that contained the will of the heavenly Tao. It was not an exaggeration to say that the shockwaves of the battle at this level could destroy the world. Therefore, how could these people contend against him? For a time, it was as if this place had become hell on earth. Miserable wails and roars of despair rang out incessantly. The collapsing world was dyed red. It was a ghastly sight. Even from afar, he could feel the tragic atmosphere and smell the pungent smell of blood. Chapter 4504. At the same time, Dong Qingyuan, Princess Wuxia, Kuanping, and Dragon God, who were controlled by the Eye of Despair, were also in danger. Despair, I'm not Princess Wuxia, who was born to get whatever she wanted. I'm also not someone like Dong Qingyuan, who has always been valued and trusted by the Emperor. I, Dong Hanzong, I relied on my own efforts and perseverance to get to where I am today. I've experienced too much despair in my life, so you want to use the Eye of Despair to control me? Dream on. Dong Hanzong roared, his hair standing on end. He finally got rid of the Eye of Despair. He quickly stabilized himself in the void, using his invincible body to display his heaven-defying power. No matter how terrifying the battle was, he was not affected at all. But suddenly, he thought of someone. A woman he had admired for a long time, a woman who could make him a meteoric rise. It was Princess Wuxia. He turned to look at Princess Wuxia and found that she had not gotten rid of the Eye of Despair. She was indeed a person who grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth. Without any experience, it was difficult for her to break free from the abyss of despair. He looked at Dong Qingyuan, Kuanping, and Dragon God. His eyes flickered. If Dong Qingyuan died here, then he, as the Deputy Legion Commander, would definitely be promoted to the new Legion Commander of the Death God Legion. If Kuanping and Dragon God died here, then he would have the opportunity to control Kuanping Sea region and Sky Dragon Mountain range. Kunpeng Sea region and Sky Dragon Mountain range were not to be underestimated. When he controlled the Death God Legion, Kunpeng Sea region, and Sky Dragon Mountain range, then he would be the emperor of the Central Dynasty. As expected, Dong Hanzong's ambition was not only to be the deputy legion commander of the Death God Legion. His goal was the Central Dynasty. No, the entire Divine Kingdom, second only to the Emperor. Of course. It was not that Dong Hanzong did not want to be the Emperor of the Central Dynasty. If possible, he would rather get rid of the Emperor and replace him. But there were some things that he had to consider. The Emperor was the son of the Divine Kingdom's sovereign. With this relationship, he did not dare to do anything to the Emperor. No matter how strong he was not as strong as the sovereign of the Divine Kingdom. So, his highest goal now was to replace Dong Qingyuan. In order to replace him, Dong Qingyuan had to disappear. How could he inform Dong Qingyuan? Now was without a doubt the best opportunity. It caused Dong Qingyuan to be dominated by the Eye of Despair, and in the end, he was killed by the shockwaves of the battle. Similarly, if he wanted to climb to a higher position, he needed a shortcut. This shortcut was the Moon Immortal Princess. As long as he could get this woman, he would be the son-in-law of the emperor and the grandson-in-law of the ruler of the Divine Kingdom. With this relationship, who would be able to shake his position in the Central Dynasty? And now, it was an excellent opportunity. He was decisive. He took a step forward and flew towards Princess Yuxian. Although this Dong Hanzong is not very smart, his strong willpower is truly rare in this world. The fiend ancestor muttered. He had already grasped the will of the heavenly Tao. Even so, Dong Hanzong was still able to easily break free from the Eye of Despair's control. This could only mean one thing. His willpower and perseverance far exceeded that of ordinary people. He's actually not stupid. It's just that we're better at scheming than him, so we made him seem a little slow. If it was someone else, with his scheming and shrewdness, he would have died many times over. Qin Feiyang shook his head. He still wanted to recruit Dong Hanzong for his own use. If he could recruit this person, his chances of winning against the Central Dynasty would be much higher. It could be said that, as long as there was no origin energy, they would not be afraid of all the living beings in the Central Dynasty. Your Highness. Dong Hanzong caught up with Princess Yuxian at lightning speed and shouted, "Wake up." His voice was as loud as a bell, and it entered Princess Yuxian's ears. Princess Yuxian immediately quivered and finally climbed out of the abyss of despair. At this moment, she could not help but panic in the depths of her heart. This was because if Dong Hanzong had not woken her up, she would probably have died here today. Your Highness, are you all right? Dong Hanzong asked with concern. His hands were still wrapped around Princess Yuxian's slender waist, looking quite intimate. Princess Yuxian came back to her senses and noticed Dong Hanzong's hands. She could not help but blush and quickly pushed him away. Then, she hurriedly controlled her origin energy to form a barrier, isolating them from the battle. Dong Hanzong was extremely displeased by her actions. I saved you after all. You don't even have a word of thanks? If it were not for your identity and value, would I be so kind as to save you? Princess Yuxian did not feel Dong Hanzong's malice at all. She looked at Dong Qingyuan, Kunpeng, and the Dragon God. Seeing that the three of them were still controlled by the Eyes of Despair, she hurriedly said, "Wake them up." Okay. I'll try. Dong Hanzong nodded and rushed toward Dong Qingyuan and the other two. There was a hint of killing intent in his eyes. As long as he got close to Dong Qingyuan and the other two, even if Princess Yuxian was present, he would be able to seize the opportunity to kill them. Princess Yuxian seemed to have thought of something. She hurriedly turned around and looked at the void behind her. Her face turned pale immediately, and a monstrous killing intent surged out from her body. Behind them, the mountains, the earth, the void, and the sky were all collapsing crazily. The fluctuations of the battle were like a torrent, destroying everything in its path. In fact, this included those who did not escape. All of them were dead. "I'm going to kill you, suddenly." She turned around and stared at Qin Feiyang and the others with a bone-chilling gaze. "It seems that you have also experienced this feeling. But what about you? How did you massacre the Sky Cloud realm back then? Countless creatures died tragically. A complete continent was forcibly torn into 4 pieces by you. Especially the Nether King's Hell. Not only did the entire Blood Demon clan die in battle, but the original creatures of the Nether King's Hell were also almost wiped out. Even if all of you die here, the damage you cause to the Sky Cloud realm and the Nether King's Hell will be unforgivable." The white-eyed wolf sneered. "I've heard about the Sky Cloud realm from my father. The ones who invaded the Sky Cloud realm were the Human Clan, the Deity Clan, and the Purple-Gold Divine Dragon Clan from the 4 great continents. What does that have to do with the Central Dynasty?" Princess Yuxian said angrily. "Huh, are you joking? Without your father's order, without the order of your grandfather, the ruler of the Divine Kingdom, the 3 races would invade the Sky Cloud realm?" The white-eyed wolf sneered. Princess Moon Fairy fell silent. "Not to mention anything else, just the door to the Divine Kingdom that leads to the Sky Cloud realm can only be opened by you, the grandfather of the Divine Kingdom's ruler. Now you still dare to say that it has nothing to do with the Central Dynasty?" The white-eyed wolf shouted angrily. Princess Moon Fairy frowned. She didn't know these things at all. Even if she knew some of the situation, it was only superficial. But there was one thing she knew. This was also the idea that the Emperor and the ruler of the Divine Kingdom had instilled in her since she was young. The strong were respected. Since the Sky Cloud realm was inferior to the Divine Kingdom, the Sky Cloud realm should naturally submit to the Divine Kingdom. At this time, Dong Hanzong had already rushed in front of Dong Qingyuan and grabbed his arm. Looking at the Princess Moon Fairy and the white-eyed wolf arguing, a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Obviously, he wanted to take the opportunity to kill Dong Qingyuan. However, at this time, eyes of despair break for this sovereign. Accompanied by a roar, Dong Qingyuan woke up. This sudden roar startled Dong Hanzong. Chapter 4505. In his heart, he started to panic. Dong Qingyuan didn't feel his killing intent, right? He was very clear. Although Dong Qingyuan's strength was not as good as his, it was too easy for him to kill him with Dong Qingyuan's identity and status in the Central Dynasty. Therefore, he was a little scared. If Dong Qingyuan sensed his killing intent, he would be in deep trouble. Dong Qingyuan was completely awake, and his back could not help but break out in cold sweat. If he had not woken up in time, he would have been doomed. The Eye of Despair, the strongest battle soul in the world, was indeed extraordinary. If he was not careful, he might lose his life. "Teacher, are you okay?" Dong Hanzong asked with concern. Looking at Dong Qingyuan's appearance, it seemed that he did not feel his killing intent. "I'm fine." Dong Qingyuan waved his hand. The law of life was activated, and the injuries on his body were immediately healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. "It's good that you're fine. I just woke up the Moon Fairy Princess and was about to wake you, Kuanpeng, and the Dragon God, but I didn't expect you to break the illusion of despair yourself. Teacher is indeed worthy of being my teacher." Dong Hanzong laughed. It seemed that it was full of admiration, respect, and concern for Dong Qingyuan. "The Eye of Despair can control me for a while, but it can't control me forever." Dong Qingyuan smiled contemptuously. At this moment, the dragon god and Kunpeng also broke free from the shackles of despair and woke up. What a terrifying eye of despair! The two looked at the demon ancestor, their eyes filled with horror. It was their first time facing the eye of despair. They had only heard rumors before. Now, after experiencing it personally, it turned out to be even more terrifying than the rumors. Suddenly, Dong Qingyuan, Kunpeng, and the dragon god turned their heads to look at the earth behind them. The earth sank, and the mountains collapsed. The void was like a broken mirror, filled with a bloody smell that could not be dispersed. What's going on? Kunpeng looked at Dong Hanzong and asked. The demon ancestor used the Eye of Despair to control Princess Yuxian, causing the barrier formed by the origin energy to go out of control. The shockwaves of the battle rushed out and destroyed the mountains and rivers in this area. Those who didn't escape all died here. Dong Hanzong said gloomily. That damned bastard! The Kunpeng, Dong Qingyuan, and the dragon god immediately looked at the demon ancestor, their eyes filled with hatred. When you massacred our Sky Cloud Realm and Nether King's Hell, why didn't you show any mercy? Right now, we are merely returning an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. The demon ancestor said indifferently. How can a mere Skycloud realm compare to my divine kingdom? Besides, the people of the Central Dynasty are all my clansmen. Even if it's just our collateral clansmen, it's still nobler than the humans of the Sky Cloud realm. Princess Yuxian said. Her eyebrows were filled with pride. We're all humans. I don't know, what are you so proud of? The white-eyed wolf sneered. Shut up. You're just a beast. What right do you have to interrupt? Princess Yuxian coldly shouted. Arrogant and overbearing. Beast? White-eyed wolf raised his eyebrows. She actually dared to humiliate him like this. This stinking woman really didn't know what was good for her. You want to slaughter my Central Dynasty? All right. I'll fulfill your wish. Now, I don't care whether they live or die. Prepare to accept the judgment of the Grim Reaper. Princess Yuxian was as cold as ice. With a wave of her jade-like hand, the origin energy in front of her suddenly turned into a wave and rolled toward Qin Feiyang and the others. That's right. She had already decided to give it a try. If she continued to be timid, not only would she not be able to kill them, she might even give them a chance to escape. Rather than that, she might as well let go of all her worries and fight with all her might. As long as she could kill these people, even if she had to sacrifice herself, it would be worth it. You should have done this earlier. Dong Hanzong muttered. If he had the origin energy in his hand, he would have already used all his strength. Why would he care about the lives of these ants? Compared to Qin Feiyang and the others, not to mention the collateral clansmen, sea beasts, and fierce beasts, even the direct clansmen, even if they all died tragically here, it wouldn't be a big deal. Everyone, listen to my order. Don't use the ultimate profound. Just surround the myriad demons valley and don't give him a chance to replicate. Dong Hanzong immediately gave the order. His voice was like a bell, resounding in all directions. At first, the members of the Death God army surrounding the myriad demons valley, the Beast Kings, and the Monster Kings were ready to organize the third round of attacks, but when they heard Dong Qingyuan's order, they couldn't help but shudder and immediately dispersed the power of law. Indeed, the ultimate profound was useless against Qin Feiyang. No matter how many they activated, as long as Qin Feiyang had enough time, he could replicate them all. The only thing they could do was to fully seal the myriad demons valley and not give them a chance to escape. The rest would be left to Princess Yuxian, Dong Qingyuan, Kunpeng, the dragon god, and Dong Hanzong. This woman is a bit of a hindrance. In the distance, the inner demons frowned. There's nothing we can do about it. She has the ultimate profound. Even if all of us join forces, we're still not her match. Now, if we don't take action, it's equivalent to giving our little cousin the greatest help. Next, it's up to their own ability. Lu Jiajin's eyes flickered. At the same time, the faces of Qin Feiyang and the others were also extremely solemn. They didn't expect Princess Yuxian to be so crazy. Originally, according to the previous situation, they were basically guaranteed to win, because they could attack without any hesitation. On the contrary, Princess Yuxian and the others couldn't, because they had to protect the living beings of the central dynasty. These living beings would undoubtedly become their greatest burden. And because they had to protect these living beings, their hands and feet would become tied. But unexpectedly, Princess Yuxian didn't care about the life and death of these living beings. Even if countless living beings had to be sacrificed, they had to kill them. In this way, they immediately went from being in an active situation to being passive. Although Princess Yuxian's ultimate profound was not as much as the Emperor, this ultimate profound was enough to kill them. At the same time, most of the evil power in the Myriad Demons Valley had been transferred. There was only about 1/3 left. However, even this 1/3 was extremely terrifying. It was estimated that it could increase the strength of the madman's myriad demon sword to the extent of destroying tens of thousands of ultimate profound. Dong Zhengyang. The white-eyed wolf turned to look at Dong Zhengyang with a questioning look in his eyes. 10 breaths. At most 10 breaths, we have to leave. Otherwise, we might not be able to leave. Dong Zhengyang said. 10 breaths. When Qin Feiyang heard this, he swept his gaze towards the remaining evil power in the Myriad Demons Valley. 10 breaths of time should be enough to transfer them all. But under Princess Yuxian's ultimate profound, could they hold on for 10 breaths of time? This was really an unknown. However, since Dong Zhengyang said so, then 10 breaths of time would definitely not be a problem. He made a prompt decision. Qin Feiyang looked at the white-eyed wolf, demon ancestor, sea lion demon king, demon ancestor, Mu Tianyang, and Dong Zhengyang, and said in a deep voice, "All of you, activate your ultimate profound." Boom! Ultimate profound appeared one after another. The white-eyed wolf and sea lion demon king each had 7. Demon ancestor, Mu Tianyang, and Dong Zhengyang each had 6. And Qin Feiyang himself now also had 7 ultimate profound, as well as the ultimate profound of the law of life and death. In other words, now, Qin Feiyang and the others added together had a total of 40 ultimate profound. Once all 3,000 incarnations were replicated, there would be as many as 120,000 ultimate profound. Moreover, these 120,000 ultimate profound all had the will of the heavenly Tao. Qin Feiyang's 24,000 ultimate profound all had the will of the heavenly Tao. One could imagine. How terrifying would these 120,000 ultimate profound be? Kill. When the 3,000 incarnations were replicated, they immediately roared in unison and charged towards the ultimate profound origin. Overestimating yourself. Princess Yuxian sneered. With a loud bang, a scene that made one despair appeared. The 120,000 ultimate profound that contained the will of the heavenly Tao were simply unable to block the ultimate profound. In just 2 breaths of time, all of them were destroyed by the ultimate profound. Destructive fluctuations swept in all directions. The demon kings, beast kings, and members of the death god army that sealed the 1,000 Devil Valley retreated again and again. Just how strong is this source energy? The white-eyed wolf frowned. Logically speaking, no matter how strong the ultimate profound was, there should be a limit to it. But now, so many ultimate profound were actually unable to contend against the ultimate profound in Princess Yuxian's hands. However, there was no time for them to think too much. The torrent created by the origin energy forcefully crushed 120,000 ultimate Upanishads as it stormed toward them. Demon Ancestor, Mu Tianyang, E. The white-eyed wolf shouted. Boom! The Eye of Despair, the Eye of Evil, and the Eye of Oblivion were all activated in an instant. Do you think it's still useful? Princess Wuxia smiled contemptuously. A terrifying aura suddenly rushed out from her chest. Along with the emergence of this aura, a crescent-shaped jade pendant floated out from her neck. It shone with divine light and was dazzling. This aura. Qin Feiyang and the others stared at the jade pendant with a trace of horror in their eyes. This was because the aura emitted by this jade pendant was not the Princess Wuxia's aura, nor the Emperor's aura, nor was it the ultimate profound. It was the aura of the Divine Kingdom's ruler. Moreover, this aura contained the power of the law of death. Qin Feiyang still remembered that when he was in the Nether King's Hell, the ruler of the Divine Kingdom had activated an unknown law of death, which made him lose the courage to fight. And now, the Princess Wuxia's jade pendant had the aura of this unknown law of death. Death Domain, Absolute Defense. As soon as the Princess Wuxia spoke, the jade pendant shone with divine light. A large barrier suddenly appeared and enveloped the Princess Wuxia. You guys come in too. She looked at Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, and the Dragon God and said. Hearing this, the four of them quickly turned around and rushed into the Death Domain. As soon as they entered the Death Domain, they could clearly feel that the effects of the Eye of Despair, the Eye of Oblivion, and the Eye of Evil disappeared instantly. What is this? They were all bewildered by the jade pendant and the domain of death. Obviously, they did not know that the Princess Wuxia had such a technique. At the same time, the inner demons and Lu Jiajin frowned in the distance. Death Domain? Absolute Defense? Why hadn't they heard of it before? This damned woman sure hid it well. Chapter 4506. How could this be? Demon Ancestor, Lin Yi, and Mu Tianyang looked at this scene in disbelief. The invincible Eye of Oblivion, Eye of Despair, and Eye of Evil had lost their effect at this moment. Death Domain, what the hell is that? It can actually block the control and domination of the strongest battle soul? The three battle souls have lost their effect. Qin Feiyang's 3,000 incarnations and Eye of Heaven are no match for my origin power. What else do you have to fight me now? Princess Moon Fairy smiled coldly. At this moment, no one dared to treat her as a spoiled royal princess. This was an invincible existence. It was terrifying. Boom, the origin power surged, destroying everything in all directions. Qin Feiyang, Demon Ancestor, Lin Yi, and Mu Tianyang's means couldn't do anything to the origin power in Death Domain. Needless to say, Sea Lion Demon King. Looking at the origin power and the Death Domain around Princess Moon Fairy, he was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Until now, only the white-eyed wolf and Dong Zhengyang had yet to make a move. Damn it, I still don't believe that the origin power is so invincible. The white-eyed wolf was unconvinced. Roar! With a sky-shaking roar, the battle soul heaven-swallowing beast appeared. Heaven-swallowing beast. Princess Moon Fairy's pupils shrank. You actually recognize the heaven-swallowing beast? This is really surprising. Since you know the heaven-swallowing beast, then you should know how terrifying it is. So, I advise you to get lost immediately. The white-eyed wolf smiled domineeringly. Get lost? Princess Moon Fairy was taken aback and sneered, the heaven-swallowing beast is indeed powerful. It can even swallow the world in one gulp. But your heaven-swallowing beast is just a battle soul. The white-eyed wolf's expression stiffened. He originally wanted to scare this woman, but he didn't expect her to fall for it. In that case, fourth talent ability, activate. The white-eyed wolf roared. As soon as the heaven-swallowing beast opened its mouth, a gust of wind blew between heaven and earth. A terrifying suction force swept in all directions. One had to know. This fourth divine ability could even devour the domains of Dong Hanzong, Dong Tianchen, Dong Xian, Dong Qin, and Dong Ping. However, at this moment, he was actually unable to devour Princess Moon Immortal's domain of death. Not to mention the origin energy. The origin energy was as stable as Mount Tai, not affected at all. It continued to attack the few people. So strong. It is indeed an absolute defense. It's even more terrifying than the invincible domain. Dong Hanzong whispered. Was this Princess Yuxian's strength? It was too terrifying. Powerful strength, the most noble identity, a transcendent status, he had to get his hands on such a woman and not let anyone else take advantage of her. Brother Wolf, I'm afraid we're doomed this time. The devil ancestor smiled bitterly. White-eyed wolf clenched his fists and turned to look at Dong Zhengyang. Dong Zhengyang, however, remained silent. Can you stop keeping me in suspense? The white-eyed wolf was furious. I'm not trying to keep you in suspense, but I really can't reveal the secrets of heaven. Dong Zhengyang shook his head. Hearing these words, the white-eyed wolf's anger suddenly flared up. He only believed that man could conquer the heavens. Revealing the secrets of heaven? Suffering the wrath of heaven? In his opinion, it was a joke. But don't worry. I can block this origin energy, but there is only one chance. So, when I block this origin energy, I must immediately kill my way out. Dong Zhengyang said again. What? You can block this origin energy? What a joke. Not to mention the white-eyed wolf, even Qin Feiyang, Lin Yi, Mu Tianyang, and the demon ancestor couldn't believe it. The Sea Lion Demon King was even more dumbfounded. This was the origin energy of the Divine Kingdom. Previously, even Qin Feiyang's 120,000 Dao paths that contained the ultimate meaning of the will of heaven could not block the origin energy, let alone Dong Zhengyang's power alone. He's simply bragging without a draft. Dong Zhengyang smiled faintly, and there was a touch of confidence between his eyebrows. It doesn't seem to be a joke. Qin Feiyang looked at Dong Zhengyang, made up his mind, and continued to transfer the evil forces. Previously, he had already planned to give up the remaining evil forces and evacuate with everyone. Because in the face of the origin energy and the sudden appearance of the death domain, he already felt desperate. But now, since Dong Zhengyang said so, he would gamble again. This was the trust between companions. If he didn't even have this trust, what qualifications did he have to say that the other party was his life and death partner? 1 breath. 2 breaths. 3 breaths. Finally, the origin energy arrived. Everyone's heart, including Qin Feiyang, was in their throats in an instant. But at this moment, Dong Zhengyang suddenly raised his hands and kept forming seals. His ruddy face quickly turned pale as if he was performing a forbidden technique of heaven, causing him to bear a huge injury alone. Boom! The next moment, strands of mysterious power surged out from his hands. They seemed to contain the presence of destiny. Book of Destiny, appear. Suddenly, Dong Hanzong spoke. He was clearly standing in front of them, but his voice seemed to be extremely ethereal, as if it came from beyond the heavens, and lingered in the air. As his voice fell, a dazzling divine light emerged. Following closely, an ancient book appeared in front of him. The size was similar to an ordinary book, and the thickness was only a finger thick, but it wasn't made of paper. It seemed to be an iron book with mysterious patterns engraved on it. It looked extremely mysterious and mysterious. Book of Destiny. Qin Feiyang and the others looked at this scene in astonishment. What the hell was this? They had never seen it before. Dong Zhengyang didn't seem to have such a method. Princess Yuxian, Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, and the dragon god were all shocked. Including the inner demons and Lu Jiajin. At the same time as the Book of Destiny appeared, the origin power rushed to Qin Feiyang and the others. The terrifying and monstrous divine might made them despair. Death was right in front of them. Even now, it was too late for them to fight back. Dong Zhengyang, don't play with us. This will cost us our lives. The white-eyed wolf roared. His physical body had been shattered and dripping with blood. At this moment, it was like seeing a death god standing in front of him. Lin Yi was even more miserable. Because her strength was the weakest, she had yet to master the will of heaven. Her physical body had been shattered, and now only her divine soul was left. Even her divine soul was annihilating. In this life, she had faced death countless times, but it had never been as real as this time. It seemed that she had entered the gates of hell. Just when everyone's life was hanging by a thread, Dong Zhengyang suddenly turned his head, stared at the origin power, and shouted, "Book of Destiny, reverse fate." Voila! As Dong Zhengyang's voice fell, the Book of Destiny opened, and a mysterious and ancient aura rushed out. The opened Book of Destiny was also engraved with complex patterns. In the center of the pattern, there was a strange eye. This eye was very similar to Dong Zhengyang's own Eye of Destiny. But the difference was, this eye seemed to have a soul. In other words, this eye was like a living thing. When the Book of Destiny opened, the aura that roared out came from this eye. Suddenly, the eye closed. That's right. This eye, it suddenly closed. As this eye closed, the world in this area of Myriad Demons Valley instantly fell into a state of darkness. It was pitch black. And no one could see through this kind of darkness. Because generally speaking, people like Qin Feiyang and Princess Yuxian would not be affected by the darkness due to their cultivation. With their strength and cultivation, even if they fell into darkness, they could still see everything clearly. However, at this moment, there was darkness in front of them. Just like mortals in a dark night, they couldn't see anything. What's going on? Not only did the world turn into darkness, but even the sound in their ears disappeared completely. It was as if they were standing alone in the eternal abyss. There was a loneliness from the depths of their soul. But this darkness didn't last long. Almost in about 3 breaths, the darkness disappeared instantly, and light appeared in front of them. When the light reappeared, nothing in this world had changed. If it weren't for the previous experience, they wouldn't believe that night had appeared before. Looking at the Book of Destiny again, the eye on it had opened. Could it be related to it? When it closes, it's night, and when it opens, it's day? The white-eyed wolf whispered. It should be. But what's the meaning of this? Lin Yi was suspicious. Meaning? Hearing Lin Yi's words, Qin Feiyang and others recalled the previous situation at this time. Before. They were drowned by the power of the origin. How could they still speak now? Logically speaking. Shouldn't they be dead already? The white-eyed wolf turned his head to look at Lin Yi. His eyes suddenly widened, full of disbelief. Before. He clearly remembered that Lin Yi's physical body had been destroyed. Moreover, not much of her soul was left. But now, Lin Yi, who was standing next to him, was unscathed. What's going on? Qin Feiyang, demon ancestor, Mu Tianyang, and Sea Lion Demon King quickly noticed Lin Yi's situation. They all looked shocked. Is it an illusion? Lin Yi also noticed this change. Her eyes were full of disbelief. Then, she looked at Qin Feiyang and others and said in surprise, "Don't look at me all the time. The scars on your body have all disappeared." Qin Feiyang and others were taken aback and quickly looked at themselves. Sure enough, the injuries on their bodies had disappeared. This is impossible. It must be an illusion. In the distance, Lu Jiajin and the inner demons were also dumbfounded. Opposite. The same was true for Princess Moon Fairy, Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, Kuanpeng, and Dragon God. Their faces were full of disbelief. They were already dying. Now, not only were they still alive, but their injuries had also disappeared. It was simply unbelievable. They are unscathed. What about the power of the origin? Princess Moon Fairy whispered. She quickly glanced around and found that the power of the origin was floating in the void behind Qin Feiyang and others, exuding an aura that could destroy the world. The power of the origin was not damaged. But what about Qin Feiyang and others? How did they avoid the bombardment of the power of the origin? How did they make the injuries on their bodies disappear? Not to mention Princess Moon Fairy, Qin Feiyang and others also wanted to know. Because before this, they didn't do anything at all. Chapter 4507. Whoosh. When they regained their senses, Qin Feiyang and the others, as well as Princess Yuxian and the others, all looked at Dong Zhengyang at the same time. Such a strange scene must have something to do with Dong Zhengyang. The Book of Destiny was still there. The eyes on it emitted an obscure aura. Dong Zhengyang stood in front of the Book of Destiny with his hands behind his back. His expression was calm, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. He looked like an immortal. "Old Dong, what's the situation?" White-Eyed Wolf asked in a daze. Until now, he still couldn't believe what had just happened. The Book of Destiny was able to fight against the origin energy? What a joke. Previously, Qin Feiyang's 120,000 ultimate profound meanings that contained the will of the heavens couldn't stop the origin energy, let alone a mere book. Is this the time to ask these questions? Hurry up and break out. Dong Zhengyang transmitted his voice without changing his expression. There was a hint of anxiousness in his voice. Hearing this, Qin Feiyang and the others shuddered. Could it be that Dong Zhengyang had some side effects after opening the Book of Destiny? Thinking of this, Qin Feiyang lowered his head and looked at the Thousand Demons Valley. The evil force had almost been transferred. The remaining bits and pieces were of little value. Make a prompt decision. Qin Feiyang activated the flash of light and shadow. With two wills of the heavens, he swept up White-Eyed Wolf and the others and fled in the opposite direction of the Thousand Demons Valley without looking back. "Where do you think you're going?" Princess Yuxian shouted. The origin energy turned into a long sword, and its sharpness could tear the heavens and the earth. She grabbed the long sword and chased after them. Dong Hanzong's eyes flashed. As he activated the Great Heaven Domain, he instantly transformed into two wills of the heavens. He then chased after Princess Yuxian and said, "Your Highness, I'll take you to chase after them." "Okay." Princess Yuxian nodded. Dong Hanzong was delighted. He immediately waved his hand and swept Princess Yuxian up before chasing after Qin Feiyang and the others like lightning. "What should we do?" Kuanpeng asked as he looked at the Dragon God and Dong Qingyuan. Looking at the direction they're escaping in, they should be trying to break out of the encirclement from the other side. If we teleport there directly, we can intercept them. The Dragon God's eyes flashed. As a supergiant of the Divine Kingdom, he naturally knew the situation of the Central Dynasty like the back of his hand, including the Myriad Demons Valley. Yes. Dong Qingyuan and Kuanpeng nodded in agreement. Their speed was not as fast as Qin Feiyang and Dong Hanzong, so they could only go forward to intercept them. Immediately, a space-time passageway appeared and the three of them flew into it without even looking back. It seems like there's nothing left for us to do. The inner demons looked at this scene in astonishment. It has nothing to do with us in the first place. Lu Jiajin smiled inwardly. Originally, he had thought that Qin Feiyang and the others were doomed this time, so he had been worried. But they had never imagined that Dong Zhengyang would possess such a heaven-defying method, which actually allowed them to avoid the attack of the source energy. Now, as long as Qin Feiyang and the others were determined to escape, the Central Dynasty's people could not stop them. After all, in addition to Dong Zhengyang, there was still the demon ancestor, Lin Yi, and Mu Tianyang. With their battle souls, it was not difficult for them to fight their way out. Let's go. They have grown up now. As long as there is no source energy, they are invincible. There is no need to worry about them anymore. Lu Jiajin transmitted his voice and was about to turn and leave. Compared to the first time they met in the four great continents, Qin Feiyang and the others were much stronger. However, at this moment, a sword light suddenly appeared, tearing through the sky and went straight to the inner demons and Lu Jiajin. The two's faces changed. What happened? Someone actually attacked them? The next moment, two figures appeared out of thin air. These were two masked men. They were 7 feet tall and looked quite burly. But because they were wearing a ghost mask, their true faces could not be seen. However, both of them held a long sword in their hands. Divine light flickered. At a glance, one could tell that it was a sovereign divine weapon. The inner demons and Lu Jiajin hurriedly avoided the sword light. The sword light blasted the ground below, accompanied by a loud bang. Dust billowed, and a bottomless pit suddenly appeared. Looking down at the huge pit below, the inner demons and Lu Jiajin's heart sank. They came prepared. And they really came to kill them. Who are you? The two suddenly raised their heads and stared at the two ghost-masked men. Qin Feiyang's people would definitely not sneak attack them. Therefore, these two must be from the Central Dynasty. However, now that they were the commander and deputy commander of the 10th team, and they knew their means, who dared to attack them? Could it be that Dong Hanzong and Dong Qingyuan sent them? Seeing that their bodies were now destroyed, they wanted to take the opportunity to eliminate them? You actually dodged it. Your reaction is quite fast. The two masked men smiled sinisterly. The ghost mask on their faces made them look quite ferocious. I'm asking you a question. Who are you? The inner demon said. Blood light flashed in his eyes. How dare they sneak attack him and Lu Jiajin? He was truly audacious. We're the ones who want your lives. The two ghost-masked men laughed, and the sovereign divine weapons in their hands instantly awakened, carrying the power to destroy heaven and earth, and attacked the two of them. Now, the two of them were only in the state of divine souls. Not to mention the sovereign divine weapons, any perfected sovereign divine warrior could kill them. The situation was precarious. Don't struggle. You're very strong, but now that you've lost your bodies, it's useless no matter how strong you are. As for your sovereign divine weapons, the peak-level sovereign divine weapon that you took from Dong Qingyuan is indeed terrifying, but now, it shouldn't be with you, or it would have been taken out by you. So, you should obediently wait for your deaths. The two ghost-masked men laughed sinisterly. It was easy to judge whether they had sovereign divine weapons or not. For example, now, the inner demons and Lu Jiajin's bodies were destroyed. If they had sovereign divine weapons, they would naturally be exposed. On the other hand, if they didn't see any spatial divine items or sovereign divine weapons when their bodies were destroyed, it meant that they didn't have them with them. It seems that you're quite smart. The inner demons laughed sinisterly. Of course. We're waiting for this opportunity to kill you. After all, you're too strong. If we can't find such an opportunity, it's impossible to get rid of you. The two of them laughed sinisterly. Lu Jiajin's eyes flashed slightly, and said in a deep voice, "Since we're going to die anyway, why don't you let us know who you are? Are you trying to trick us? You'd better go and be confused ghosts." The two of them didn't fall for it at all. The two sovereign divine weapons were about to kill Lu Jiajin and the inner demons. The inner demons laughed sinisterly, "You're too naive. Even if your bodies are destroyed, you can't do anything." Huh, still arrogant? Now, Dong Qingyuan and the others are chasing after Qin Feiyang and the others, and the members of the Death God army at the entrance, Monster Kings, and Beast Kings are all dead. May I ask, who will come to save you now? The two of them laughed loudly. Save? You're underestimating us. Do we need others to save us? Now, I'll let you see my fighting soul. My fighting soul has never been activated. Even the Emperor doesn't know about it, so you should be honored. The inner demons laughed sinisterly. As soon as he finished speaking, waves of blood immediately surged out in all directions. From afar, it looked like a sea of blood was surging. Fighting soul? The two of them were shocked. Demon King's blood prison, open. The inner demons roared. The waves of blood roared and surged toward the inner demons. In the blink of an eye, his shattered body was directly reconstructed. That's right. His body was reconstructed, and he was full of vitality. How is this possible? The two of them were stunned. After living for so many years, this was the first time they had seen a sovereign divine weapon self-destruct. It was simply beyond imagination. Chapter 4508. At the same time, Qin Feiyang and others had also fled to the other side of the Myriad Demons Valley. Dong Hanzong took Princess Yuxian and chased after them. Damn it, how long do we have to chase? The white-eyed wolf was quite annoyed. Although he hated Dong Hanzong very much, sometimes he had to admit that he was indeed a difficult opponent. Because if it weren't for Dong Hanzong's help, even if Princess Yuxian mastered the power of origin, she would have long been shaken off by them. But the white-eyed wolf and Qin Feiyang didn't notice that Dong Zhengyang's face was turning pale at this moment. Puff! Suddenly, his body shook, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Qin Feiyang and the others' faces changed, and they quickly looked at Dong Zhengyang. Don't worry about me, I'm fine. Hurry up and break out. Dong Zhengyang looked at Qin Feiyang and said. There was a trace of weakness in his eyes. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. Presumably, this was related to Dong Zhengyang's previous opening of the Book of Destiny. Old Dong, are you really okay? The white-eyed wolf frowned. No matter how you look at Dong Zhengyang's face at this moment, it didn't look like he was okay. This is the after-effect of opening the Book of Destiny. Dong Zhengyang took a deep breath and swallowed back the blood that spurted out again. After effect? Several people were surprised. Dong Zhengyang nodded. What after effect? Is it serious? The white-eyed wolf looked at him worriedly. It's okay. Dong Zhengyang smiled slightly, motioning not to worry. It's okay. Several people looked at each other. They all heard the hint of concealment in Dong Zhengyang's words. Mu Tianyang transmitted his voice, since he doesn't want to say, let's not ask. Demon Ancestor, Lin Yi, and White-Eyed Wolf nodded silently. The White-Eyed Wolf bared his teeth and said, however, this book of destiny of yours is quite amazing. It can actually help us avoid the attacks of the origin energy. I have never seen such a thing before. I haven't mastered it before. In the past, I didn't know that the book of destiny existed. Dong Zhengyang shook his head. When did the book of destiny appear? The white-eyed wolf was curious. It appeared after the Eye of Destiny evolved. As for the Book of Destiny, it only has one ability, and that is to change the fate of an instant. Just like before, it was because the Book of Destiny changed our fates for an instant that we didn't die to the origin energy. Dong Zhengyang explained. Changing the fate of an instant. White-eyed wolf and the others looked at each other. This was too heaven-defying. Even though it was just an instant, one had to know that this was fate. It wasn't a small matter. Fate could not be changed. Therefore, even though it was only a momentary change of fate, it was still shocking enough. In other words, the Book of Destiny can change death? Qin Feiyang asked. Yes. Previously, when I faced the origin energy, I only opened the Book of Destiny at the last moment because the Book of Destiny can only change life and death for an instant. If I opened it earlier or later, it would lose its effect. Dong Zhengyang nodded. No wonder. I was wondering why we didn't die and why we didn't get injured. It turns out that the Eye of Destiny has such an ability. This is really heaven-defying. This is strange. Why does your Eye of Destiny have such an ability? Our Eye of Despair, Eye of Evil, Eye of Oblivion, and Eye of Heaven didn't awaken such an ability. Mu Tianyang said sourly. Who wouldn't be envious of such an ability? Why don't you take a look at how powerful your fighting souls are? Although my Eye of Destiny can see through fate, it doesn't have much combat power. Even the Book of Destiny can only change one's fate for an instant. It doesn't have any destructive power. Dong Zhengyang shook his head and smiled bitterly. Even if it doesn't have any destructive power, this ability is already heaven-defying. The white-eyed wolf was speechless. He was still not satisfied. Don't talk about me. Isn't your fighting soul also heaven-defying? Deprive one's cultivation, fighting soul, and laws. Go and see who else in the world has such an ability. Dong Zhengyang was helpless. Cough cough. You'd better worry about my feelings. Which one of you isn't a pervert? The Sea Lion Demon King said weakly. In the past. As the Demon King of the Kunpeng Sea region, he was very proud and arrogant. However, ever since he met Qin Feiyang, he had been dealt with one blow after another. He felt that he was as weak as a newborn baby in front of these people. Mu Tianyang and the others couldn't help but laugh. How can you still laugh? Behind them, Princess Yuxian and Dong Hanzong were furious when they heard their laughter. Especially Dong Hanzong. It almost reached the point of extreme madness. In the face of their pursuit, he was still laughing there. This was simply humiliating him. Are there any restrictions on the Book of Destiny? For example, Dong Hanzong's domain can only be opened once a day for half an hour each time? Lin Yi was suspicious. There are no such restrictions. Dong Zhengyang shook his head. No? The white-eyed wolf and the others were surprised. There are no restrictions on such a heaven-defying method? Although there are no restrictions and you all envy this ability, if I have a choice, I would rather not awaken the Book of Destiny. Or, I would rather exchange with you. Dong Zhengyang smiled faintly. N? They looked at each other. There was a hidden meaning in his words. What did Dong Zhengyang want to express? Could it be that the sequelae of opening the Book of Destiny was more serious than they thought? It's time to break through. Suddenly, Dong Zhengyang looked ahead with a solemn expression. The mountain in front had also been destroyed by the battle fluctuations. It was riddled with holes and a mess. Above a broken mountain, a group of people stood against the wind. The leader was Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, and the Dragon God. Behind, members of the Death God Legion, the Monster King of the Kuanpeng Sea region, the Beast King of the Sky Dragon Mountain Range, and the people of the major families. Although the people at the entrance died in the hands of Qin Feiyang, there were only about 10,000 people. And this time, there were more than 12 heavenly will powerhouses who came to the myriad Demon Valley. Even if they lost more than 10,000 people, there were still about 110,000 people. On the whole, there wasn't much change. At this time, almost all of these 110,000 people gathered behind Dong Qingyuan and the others. Mu Tianyang said in a deep voice, "It seems that Dong Qingyuan and the others have seen through our escape route and gathered everyone here in advance to intercept us. Is it useful?" The white-eyed wolf sneered. "Indeed. These people can no longer stop us." The demon ancestor laughed. In the past, the demon ancestor, Mu Tianyang, and Dong Zhengyang did not master the heavenly will. They couldn't exert their peak state in their respective battles. But it was different now. Whether it was the eye of despair or the eye of evil, their power was far beyond the past. Most importantly, the Moon Immortal Princess, who possessed source energy, was chasing after them from behind. Thus, Dong Qingyuan and the others who were blocking their path did not possess source energy. As such, they were naturally unable to stop them. They are here. Legion Commander, Lord Kuanpeng, Lord Dragon God, are we going to activate the ultimate profound? At the same time, the 110,000 people also saw Qin Feiyang and the others, and they suddenly became nervous. The strength displayed by the frenzied tribulation, Lin Yi, the demon ancestor, Mu Tianyang, Dong Zhengyang, and Qin Feiyang had left an indelible shadow in their hearts. This was a group of monsters that made people tremble in fear. We can't activate the ultimate profound. Otherwise, when Qin Feiyang replicates it, we will become their accomplices. Dong Zhengyang said in a deep voice. If we don't activate the ultimate profound, what other means do we have? Divine arts? Artifacts? These things can't stop them at all. So many powerhouses with the will of heavenly will fell into a state of panic at this moment. Divine arts, unless it was a super-killing technique, posed no threat to ordinary dominator powerhouses, let alone Qin Feiyang and the others who mastered the will of heavenly will. Moreover, divine arts could also be replicated by the eye of heaven. As for artifacts, ordinary artifacts naturally couldn't do it. Not to mention ordinary artifacts, even low-level, mid-level, and high-level dominator artifacts had no lethality in the eyes of these people. Because Qin Feiyang's 3,000 incarnations, the ultimate profound of the law of life and death, and the will of heavenly will could even crush a pinnacle dominator artifact. Use the power of law. We have so many people, even if we only use the power of law, we can stop them. The ultimate profound can be replicated, I don't believe that he can replicate the power of law. Dong Zhengyang said gloomily. Okay. The Kuanpeng and Dragon God also nodded. At this point, they could only take a gamble. Boom. At this moment, with the three of them taking the lead, they all activated the power of law. All kinds of laws gathered in the sky, turning into a tornado that swept across the sky. Don't say. 110,000 powerhouses with the will of heavenly will activated the power of law together. It was an extremely terrifying scene. It was no exaggeration to say that. Even if it was a pinnacle sovereign divine weapon, it would be destroyed effortlessly. Learn to be smart. I won't activate the ultimate profound. The white-eyed wolf laughed. But would this be useful? He didn't know that among the 3,000 incarnations, except for artifacts like artifacts, everything else could be replicated. Even some super-killing techniques could be replicated. Little Qin Zi, it's up to you now. As soon as the white-eyed wolf's voice fell, Qin Feiyang activated the purple-gold dragon's soul and the Eye of Heaven. At the same time, a 5,000 years a day time array appeared under his feet. The Eye of Heaven coupled with the time array was an invincible existence. Eye of Heaven? What's going on? Could it be that even the power of law can be replicated? Seeing Qin Feiyang activate the Eye of Heaven, Dong Qingyuan and the others were all surprised. Sure enough. Almost in the next moment. In the void in front of the purple-gold dragon god, a storm of laws emerged. It was completely on par with the storm of laws above Dong Qingyuan and the others. Moreover, the speed of recovering this storm of laws was countless times faster than the speed of replicating the ultimate profound. For a moment, Dong Qingyuan, the Kunpeng, the dragon god, and the 110,000 people behind them were all dumbfounded. This can be replicated? Is there anything that your Eye of Heaven can't replicate? Chapter 4509. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the two nomological storms clashed together, erupting with destructive power. I don't believe that you can even replicate a sovereign weapon. The Kunpeng and the dragon god looked at each other. With a loud clang, two pinnacle sovereign divine weapons appeared. It instantly recovered and charged towards Qin Feiyang and the others with a monstrous sharpness. Since the pinnacle sovereign weapons have come to us, we'll gladly accept them. Qin Feiyang said domineeringly. It was as if the two pinnacle sovereign weapons were already in their pockets. Boom! 3,000 clones were activated. The 7 ultimate laws of life and death instantly appeared, exuding a destructive aura. There were a total of 24,000. With the eruption of 2 wills of the Great Path, the 24,000 ultimate laws instantly shattered the mountains and the earth as they charged toward the 2 pinnacle sovereign weapons. Oh no! The Kunpeng and the dragon god immediately knew that things were not going well. In a moment of impulse, they forgot that Qin Feiyang had 3,000 clones. A pinnacle sovereign weapon could intimidate any wills of the Great Path, except for Qin Feiyang. This was because the 3,000 clones allowed him to have the combat power to crush a pinnacle sovereign weapon. Of course. The Frenzied One's 10,000 evil sword, the Inner Demon's 10,000 demon true body, and Dong Hanzong's Qian Kuan domain all had the same ability. As for the white-eyed wolf's battle soul, it was still unknown. This was because the true lethality of the ingrate's 4th innate ability was something that no one knew except for the ingrate himself. Clang! Crack! With a loud sound, the 2 pinnacle sovereign weapons shattered on the spot. Qin Feiyang stepped forward, and the power of laws surged out toward the 2 sovereign weapons. Quick, stop him! The Kunpeng roared. The combat power of Qin Feiyang and the others was already so terrifying. If they obtained 2 more pinnacle sovereign weapons, wouldn't they turn the world upside down? Although the 2 sovereign weapons were shattered, their artifact spirits were still present. They wanted to escape. At the same time, 110,000 wills of the Great Path experts instinctively activated their ultimate laws when they heard the Kunpeng's roar. Because the ultimate profound was their strongest technique. Once a person encountered an emergency, the first thing they would think of would be their strongest means. No. Seeing this, Dong Qingyuan's expression changed abruptly, and he hurriedly tried to stop him. If he activated the ultimate meaning now, wouldn't that be the same as helping Qin Feiyang? Perhaps Qin Feiyang had been waiting for them to activate the ultimate meaning. In short, the ability of the Eye of Heaven was to borrow force to fight force. The stronger the enemy, the greater the lethality of the Eye of Heaven. Although most of these 100,000 people were seriously injured, it did not affect them from self-destructing. 100,000 people self-destructed at the same time. And they were all will of the Great Path powerhouses. What kind of concept was this? It was not an exaggeration to say that it could destroy the world. Qin Feiyang looked solemn. Faster. The white-eyed wolf urged. With so many people self-destructing, even if he activated the fourth supernatural power, it would be meaningless. Because he knew very well that the fourth supernatural power could not swallow the fluctuations of this self-destruction. Mu Tianyang, Lin Yi, the Sea Lion Demon King, and the Demon Ancestor were also helpless against the fluctuations of this self-destruction. Because Eye of Despair, Eye of Evil, and Eye of Oblivion could only target living creatures. Similarly, no matter how heaven-defying Qin Feiyang's Eye of Heaven was, it was impossible to replicate others' self-destruction. With his strength, he could not block this fluctuation. In other words, self-destruction was unsolvable. Unless one had a stronger strength than self-destruction, everything was in vain. But now, obviously, they did not have such strength. After all, too many people self-destructed at the same time. Isn't your Eye of Heaven very powerful? Do you have the ability to replicate the fluctuations of their self-destruction? Dong Hanzong looked at the backs of Qin Feiyang and the others from a distance and sneered. 3,000 incarnations, help this fluctuation. Qin Feiyang shouted. 3,000 incarnations immediately turned and stood in a row. The power of the major laws surged out, condensing into a row of barriers as tall as the sky in front. Boom! The fluctuations of the self-destruction swept over. Even if the power of these laws contained double will of the Great Path, it could not block this fluctuation. It collapsed instantly. 3,000 incarnations were also annihilated. Because the power of the self-destruction would far exceed the strength of the self-destructor. For example, you are a half-step sovereign realm expert. When you self-destruct, the lethality of the self-destruction would be enough to kill an initial sovereign realm expert and severely injure a lesser sovereign realm expert. Even a greater sovereign realm expert would be threatened. Therefore, no matter who it was, once the opponent self-destructed, they would be in an extremely dangerous situation. Damn you! You don't follow the rules of the underworld. The white-eyed wolf was extremely angry. Everyone self-destructed at the slightest disagreement. Wasn't this cheating? Seeing that Qin Feiyang and the others were about to be engulfed by the fluctuations of the self-destruction, Dong Zhengyang suddenly waved his hand and the Book of Destiny appeared. Just as he was about to open the Book of Destiny again, a space-time passage appeared and a white figure walked out like a savior. This person was Long Chen. However, the current Long Chen was covered in wounds and bloodstains. His originally elegant and otherworldly temperament was now in an extremely sorry state. Little Chen. The white-eyed wolf's eyes lit up. Looks like you guys can't do it without me. Long Chen chuckled. The God domain opened and instantly merged with the heavens and earth. Boom! In the next moment, the power of the natural order between heaven and earth surged and blocked their path. Chapter 45:10. The rule force of the Divine Kingdom was indeed extraordinary. The terrifying self-detonation shockwaves were all blocked. However, Qin Feiyang and the others didn't even have time to breathe a sigh of relief. Princess Yuxian and Dong Hanzong rushed over. Princess Yuxian had the origin force, so she naturally wasn't afraid of the explosion. I only paused for a moment and they caught up. The white-eyed wolf raised his eyebrows. There's no other way. After all, Dong Hanzong also has two heavens will now. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Princess Yuxian looked at the few of them and locked her eyes on Long Chen, saying coldly, God's domain, I want to see if it's really that powerful. Boom! The origin force rushed over. The barrier condensed by the rule force immediately collapsed. After all, the origin force was a force that was above the rule force. Naturally, the rule force couldn't be the opponent of the origin force. Not only was the rule force broken, but even the god's domain was instantly annihilated. This was the power of the origin force. It was invincible and nothing couldn't be broken. Damn woman, you're not done yet, right? Now, there's only the two of you left. The white-eyed wolf's eyes flashed fiercely. That's right, there's only the two of us left. But so what? Can you block my origin force? Princess Yuxian smiled contemptuously, and the origin force immediately rushed towards Qin Feiyang and the others. Go! Long Chen's pupils shrank. Want to leave? Dong Hanzong sneered and opened the sealed god domain. An invisible force was like a tide, covering the sky and earth and enveloping Qin Feiyang and the others. This was the sealed god domain's remarkable ability. Sealing God's force, and rule force. As the rule force was sealed, Qin Feiyang was no longer able to open the moment of time. The power of origin was already close at hand. A sense of death crisis rose in his heart. At this time, accompanied by a beast roar, the battle soul heaven-swallowing beast appeared. Swallow his Qian Kun domain for me. The white-eyed wolf roared. As long as the universe domain was broken, Dong Hanzong would no longer be a threat. This was because once the universe domain was broken, it could only be opened again the next day. Don't even think about it. Princess Moon Fairy smiled coldly. In the blink of an eye, another strand of origin energy appeared and shot towards the heaven-devouring battle soul at lightning speed. There's still origin energy in his body? White-eyed wolf's heart sank. How can I not leave some leeway when dealing with you? Princess Moon Fairy sneered. Damned woman, you're forcing me, aren't you? Let me try and see if I can swallow your source energy. The white-eyed wolf bristled with anger. The heaven-devouring fighting soul beast opened its mouth wide, and a strong wind howled between heaven and earth. Boom! When the wisp of origin energy entered the fighting soul heaven-swallowing beast's mouth, there was a loud bang and the white-eyed wolf's fighting soul collapsed on the spot. This, white-eyed wolf's expression froze. He didn't even have the slightest bit of power to resist. Little Qin Zi's 3,000 incarnations couldn't do anything to the power of origin. Little Madman's all-evil sword couldn't do anything to the power of origin. Now, even his fighting soul couldn't stop the power of origin. Ask yourself. In this world, was there anything that could compete with the power of origin? Now, you have nowhere to run. Dong Hanzong grinned. With the protection of Princess Moon Fairy's death domain, the demon ancestor, Mu Tianyang, and Lin Yi's fighting souls were no longer a threat to him. As for Qin Feiyang, White-Eyed Wolf, and Long Chen, although they were powerful, the power of origin could easily suppress them. So, no matter what, they would be the victorious party today. White-Eyed Wolf shouted, Dong Zhengyang, didn't you say that there would be no problem? The power of origin was already in front of them. Their physical bodies couldn't withstand the power of origin. They were cracking rapidly and dripping with blood. Don't worry, there will be no problem. Dong Zhengyang was also bleeding all over his body. His wounds were shocking, but he wasn't worried at all. Don't tell me I have to open the Book of Destiny again, Demon Ancestor frowned. Although he didn't know what the after-effects of opening the Book of Destiny would be, judging from Dong Zhengyang's previous situation, it was better not to open it. The situation once again entered a critical state. Qin Feiyang and the others' laws, power, and divine power were all sealed, and they couldn't escape. White-eyed wolf's fighting soul also lost its effect. Now, they were equivalent to lambs being pressed on the chopping board without the power to fight back. To break this situation, they must break Dong Hanzong's seal. Old Qin, I am ready. Let me out quickly. Suddenly, Madman's laughter sounded in Qin Feiyang's mind. Senior brother. Qin Feiyang was shocked. He didn't have time to think about it. With a thought, Madman immediately appeared beside him. In his hand, he was holding a 3-foot-long sword. It was the all-evil sword. So strong. Qin Feiyang was shocked. At this moment, the all-evil sword gave him the feeling that it was like a wisp of origin force. The most important thing was, after Madman came out, he was also enveloped by the sealed god domain, but the all-evil sword in his hand showed no signs of dissipating. This is the evolved all-evil true body. The current me is already invincible. Madman laughed. He slashed out with his sword. It collided with the long sword formed by the origin force. Crack. Cracks immediately appeared on the all-evil sword. Still can't do it? Madman murmured. Boom. The all-evil force in his body surged out like a tide and poured into the all-evil sword. The aura that erupted from the all-evil sword was getting stronger and stronger. Moreover, the broken cracks were also rapidly repairing. What? Princess Moon Fairy was dumbfounded. The current all-evil sword could actually compete with the origin force? That's right. This was a struggle against the power of the origin. Although the all-evil sword was still inferior to the origin force couldn't completely destroy the all-evil sword for a while. Qin Feiyang, White-Eyed Wolf, Demon Ancestor, Mu Tianyang, Lin Yi, and Demon King Sea Lion were also dumbfounded. This was too ridiculously strong. It was simply beyond imagination. Erupt completely for me. Madman roared. The all-evil force in his body poured out without reservation. The all-evil sword instantly erupted with an apocalyptic power and forcibly blasted away the long sword formed by the origin force. Impossible. Princess Moon Fairy shook her head. Her face was full of disbelief. A mere evil force could actually compete with the origin force? It didn't make sense no matter how one looked at it. You're surprised by this? What's more surprising is yet to come. Madman laughed wildly. Boom. Suddenly, the all-evil sword emerged with the will of heaven. What? This is the aura of the will of heaven? Am I seeing things? How can the will of heaven appear in the all-evil sword? Not only Princess Yuxian and Dong Hanzong, but even Qin Feiyang and the others were dumbfounded. The will of heaven, everyone knew that it would only appear in the profound law. But now, it actually appeared in the all-evil sword, which completely exceeded their understanding of the will of heaven. I'm not seeing things. This is the will of heaven. The evolved all-evil true body can add the will of heaven to the all-evil sword, increasing the power of the all-evil sword by several times. Madman laughed. The all-evil sword that contained the will of heaven slashed at the long sword formed by the origin force. With a loud crack, the long sword shattered on the spot. A few wisps of origin force were instantly obliterated. Why? Princess Yuxian clenched her fists. It could actually obliterate a few wisps of origin force. Now, the all-evil sword obviously had the upper hand. Again. Madman laughed loudly and slashed out with his sword. But just as it was about to reach the origin force, the all-evil sword suddenly turned in the air and slashed at Princess Yuxian's domain of death. The domain of death immediately began to distort and deform, with cracks appearing one after another. This scene shocked Princess Yuxian so much that she broke out in cold sweat. It could actually threaten the domain of death. Dong Hanzong's gaze was also trembling. What kind of monster is this? Even the forbidden seal couldn't seal the all-evil force in his body. Now, he had a very real feeling, as if he was facing an existence on the same level as the ruler of the divine kingdom. The powerful pressure made him almost unable to breathe. This guy has become too strong. White-eyed Wolf swallowed his saliva. As a brother and a comrade, even he couldn't help but feel a sense of fear. He is indeed very strong. But it's only this one time. Because he has already consumed all the evil force in the Thousand Devil Valley. Qin Feiyang frowned. As the ruler of the Black Tortoise world, he could clearly see that there was no more evil force in the Black Tortoise world. Obviously, the madman had already absorbed all the evil force. At this moment, the madman poured all the evil force into the all-evil sword without reservation, which made the all-evil sword so powerful. In other words, now, all the evil force in the Thousand Devil Valley had been consumed by the madman. The evil force was the source of the all-evil sword. Without the source, although the lethality of the all-evil sword was still very strong, it certainly couldn't be compared to now. So, that was why Qin Feiyang said that it was only this one time. In other words, in the future, it would be difficult for the madman's all-evil sword to display such lethality. Because there was no more evil force in his body now. Unless he could find another place like the Thousand Devil Valley in the future, and it had to be the same quality of evil force. Of course, there was another way. That was to keep absorbing the evil force. But even if he kept absorbing, even if the evil force in his body could reach this level in the end, who knew how long it would take? Consume all the evil force in the Thousand Devil Valley. The white-eyed wolf and the others looked at each other. They had all witnessed the evil force in the Thousand Devil Valley with their own eyes. Not only was it terrifying to the extreme, but it was also impossible to measure. Originally, they had transferred the evil force to the madman to use in the future, but they didn't expect that it would be squandered away now. This guy was too extravagant. But now, it seemed that this was the only way to get out of danger. It's because I can only use it once, so I have to enjoy this powerful force. The madman laughed. He could clearly feel that the all-evil sword at this moment had an invincible and indestructible force. This was the first time he felt such a powerful lethality. Of course, if he could use this opportunity to capture Princess Yuxian, even if he had to consume all the evil force in the Thousand Devil Valley, it would be worth it. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.